From the beats. evening, everybody, and welcome back to MWR6. It's playoffs time, and we're getting into our round one featured matchup here on stream this week. It's going to be UW-Platteville, excuse me. You guys just told me how that was pronounced, and I forgot it immediately. Versus the University of North Dakota. Running it back once again, it's me, Gedster. It's him, Genius. How you doing this week, man?
3 for 3 casting with you,
3 for
Gedster.
3.
Frankly,
3
I'm
for 3.
getting a little too used to this. I feel like if I keep doing it and it's someone that's not you, it's going to throw me off a lot. So I am. But no, I'm glad to be running it back, honestly. It's good.
We got to get you another play-by-play at some point, but today is not that day because it's the two of us running it back. It's been fun every time, and I'm expecting it to be fun again this time because we're finally into playoffs. We're finally into that range where potentially maybe early rounds of playoffs are still going to be kind of one-sided matchups, which is all you and I have been getting on commentary, but maybe now that we're in that range where all of the the better teams are in that contention for the trophy kind of part of the season, we potentially can start to see a couple of closer matches here and there. I'm hoping for a 3-mapper today.
Maybe. Well, I mean, it is playoffs. This is when we actually start playing for the marbles now. So maybe the teams with all the experience that they've earned from playing through the season, they can finally get that gumption to, get up there and maybe try little new things, make it so that they might have that slight edge that they need to get ahead.
Yeah, it's very possible. I believe we have a fair bit to go through before the games actually start tonight. So let's start off by talking a little bit about the starters for both of these teams because, my goodness, we got some gunners on this in the server tonight. We got Frosty, Robo, Murray, Rusty, and Colts here for the side of Platteville. I said it right this time. I had to remember how to say it, but I remembered to say it right this time.
You're doing all right.
I mean, and don't be fooled again by that 2-5 record. The fact that they're here, it means something. And once playoffs hit, anything can happen. So, really hoping for a good performance from them tonight.
And after that, we will now move on to the other team, that being the University of North Dakota, with a 5-1 record, average player rank of 87. We've got a very strong team here, some very interesting lines, and I think this should be a very fun match.
Yeah, Baker, Cole, Puddle, Tanks, and Lime. Big fan of this matchup tonight. And obviously, if you look at just the records, it's very lopsided, but we've seen certain squads that are a little bit lower in the record standings punch up a little bit previously. Now, it's not common, and it is round one of playoffs, so the seeding is rather lopsided around these parts, but still, there's always a chance of an upset. And I really hope that these higher end teams are not letting their guard down, because the moment you let your guard down, it becomes a very difficult affair. I do think we have quotes for these guys as well. So, yep, if you want it, earn it from UWP. Yeah, I feel like I've heard something similar to that pretty recently. I know where you're coming from, Frosty.
And then from University of North Dakota, Baker, we have the three certainties in life, those being death, taxes, and Baker going negative. Baker with the self call out here. I feel you, my man. Don't worry about that. But hey, just remember, the KD isn't everything. Always got to watch out for those support players, because those are the ones that are getting the breaches open, getting the heals and revives in, covering the angles, all the stuff that everyone seems to take for granted.
Very true. Can never ever keep your eyes off of that for too long. I can't blame them for that in the slightest. Let's take a look at our map selections and bans here real quick before we get into the actual gameplay tonight. It's going to be a fairly unsurprising map 1 and 2, but Skyscraper, not one that I'm super used to seeing. Cafe and Clubhouse, though, yeah, these have been these make sense for both of these teams. They've been around for a long time. They're comfortable picks that a lot of teams are very okay with playing. Skyscraper is that big one that I'm a little bit curious about
Neither
because
played on
neither of these
Skyscraper.
teams have played
Fascinating.
Skyscraper this stage.
So
Huh.
either both of them are trying to shake it up a little bit, or both of them have been trying out some new strats that we may be seeing tonight. Now I really want to go to game 3 because I want to see what
Mm-hmm.
happens with that.
Mm-hmm. That one. That one's gonna be really fun. Assuming we get there, of course. The win percentage round wise for both of these teams favors North Dakota just a little bit on both of the first two maps. But end of the day, it's not guaranteed immediately.
Yeah,
Based off of 12 rounds, that probably means that UWP has only played this map once, maybe twice, if two maps went really poorly. But with that win rate, probably just once.
it's still quite close. It really could go
Indeed.
either way here.
Mm-hmm. Wild, wild stuff.
All right.
And now we do have the season recap roadmap for Platteville coming right up here. Taking 2 wins over the course of the season over UW-Madison and ISU Red, but meanwhile losing out the rest of their matches in 0-2 fashion every single time, unfortunately. Not able to hold on to any of the hold on after losing the first map in any of these instances. I'm not sure if the ISU match went 3 after they lost map 1, but I would imagine it remained competitive throughout regardless.
Sure. And, keep in mind, these are only the wins and losses. We don't know what happened on each individual map. May have been close,
Mm-hmm.
may not have been close. This is just what we're seeing. On the
Indeed,
roadmap
indeed.
for North Dakota University, or University of North Dakota, we see a lot. Obviously, we're seeing that 5-1 with a lot of 2-0s, 1-2-1 and 1-0-2, including a bye week. Overall, a very strong showing, very reliable. But like I just mentioned, this is only win loss for maps, not for rounds. So as we've seen, the two teams, although their records aren't quite the same, they have similar map win rates. So I'd look forward to seeing how they play out tonight.
It will be interesting to see if this does end up going against the stats as of what we've seen for the rest of the season. But in the meantime, let's take a look at the lobby kill leaders over the stage here. Lime on top of it with 131. That's kind of unreal. Meanwhile,
Right.
Frosty and Murray with 129 and 115 respectively. Not something you would fully expect seeing 2 players from the less favored team in this top 3, but if anything, I think that speaks to the fact that we could see this be a much closer match than the numbers might indicate.
It does. You just got to figure out what numbers to trust. And if we're looking at these, this might be a very interesting game. Without further
Mm,
ado, here's the full stat line for each team. Platteville, North Dakota.
and I mean, Baker wasn't lying. Is negative on the stage, but honestly, not by much. Plus, currently leading his team in assists with 40. So definitely don't count Baker out of the equation here. North Dakota has gunners on this team, and even the weakest among them is still a threat in the lobby. So definitely do not underestimate anyone on this roster. They are, I mean, they're 5-1 for a reason. They've been playing particularly well up to this point, and I do expect them to continue to come out swinging here, but I really want to see Platteville come out and surprise some of the viewers at home.
Yeah, by all means. I am looking forward to this match, but I believe it's just about time that we get going here.
Ooh, we're getting
Ah,
close. It does sound like
wait.
we're missing out on one player as it stands here, unfortunately. But I mean, it's going to be an interesting map set. Obviously, starting on I think it was Cafe Map 1.
Yes,
One of
Cafe.
those maps that's very polarizing in terms of Siege. Some people love it, some people hate it. I just realized how low I am in my camera, so I'm going to sit up just a tiny bit. There we go. Like,
I like Cafe. I feel like it
mm,
has a lot of opportunities, a lot of routes that you can take, and it offers a lot of ways to play. I see why some people don't like it. Yeah, I like it. It's among my favorites, I would say.
yeah. I think it lends itself very well to a couple of particular operator bans, especially on the defense. You very often see the Azami taken away. You very often see the Kaid taken away. And I mean, common bans on other maps, sure, but Azami in particular, if you leave that character on the board and the defenders have access to it on third floor, you can just turn
Congrats. You
lounge
don't get
into
piano.
exactly. You can't get into piano. It's not possible. Just so one of that is one of the more polarizing characters on this map in particular. Obviously, good in a lot of places, but piano in particular, breaking through
Sure.
that is not easy.
And obviously, the second map, we have Clubhouse, a lot of very typical bans, mostly for wall denial and wall opening, just because of how vital the exterior walls are on Clubhouse. But what I really kind of want to at least theorize about is the skyscraper pick. Again, assuming we
Mm,
do go to game three, what bans do you think we could see for skyscraper? Because it's quite different compared to the other two maps that were chosen.
mm-hmm. It's a lot larger is one of the main things for me, and I think that roaming becomes so like it's obviously important on any map you go to, but it becomes so much more important when the map is that huge to lock down the location of a potential roamer. So I would not be at all shocked to see an operator like Deimos get banned out. I would not be shocked to see Solus get banned out with her coming into prevalence recently. Uh, Recent buffs have made that character like actually used again here and there, which I love to see, but wouldn't shock me to see her banned out. Haven't seen a lot of that happen, frankly, because I think that people find more value in banning out the fairly standard of like the Kaids and
Yeah.
other operators of the like, but would not shock me to see Deimos off the board in map number 3. Probably as like maybe not one of the first two bans and a half, but maybe that third.
From my personal experience, I found Fenrir to be very reliable for skyscraper.
Mm,
Covers a lot of the
true.
windows, a lot of the doors, and overall very strong. But from the looks of it, we have Platteville has gotten their fifth, and it looks like we are ready to go. Are we all good?
Seems like we're about to get in on that one. They're
All right,
waiting for just a couple more buttons to be pressed in this
we're
instance,
into
and
it.
eventually we're going to be going in. Does look like
Let's
we're
fire
getting
it up.
started here on Cafe right about now, with Platteville starting on the defense, North Dakota starting on the attack. Ban phase imminent.
A lot of
Azami
decent
Ace.
options here.
I'm doing Azami Ace.
Prediction.
I'm
Yeah.
predicting. Mm. Okay, so I have just been informed that UND being a Div 3 team and UWP being a Div 2 team might explain the difference in record here. So UND looking
Ah,
to punch up division wise here. So Monty and Castle off the board first. So I was completely wrong with my initial bans.
yeah, that's fair. Band two, Blitz and Mira. Very
Interesting.
yeah, interesting picks. So on the attack, two of the strongest shield ops available, and on the defense, Mira being Mira, but Castle, a fascinating choice for this map. But honestly, it's very reliable. You can cut off a lot of lines of sight or key doorways, and all of that can just absolutely halt any good push. So it's a good choice to get off the board pretty early.
I do like the decision to ban out the castle here for sure, but the thing that I am immediately paying attention to is the fact that we are going first to the first floor without a Kaid pick in sight. Rather, we will see if any pressure is put onto these hatches, it will have to be stalled out by the Tubarao or again stalled out by the Aruni gates that are put on them, but
No one
it
getting
doesn't even seem
hatches
like
at all.
anybody's reinforced it, so
Attackers are moving to defuse the
definitely
bomb.
doesn't seem like a priority for the side of UWP.
UND with the Ram pick and Hibana and Deimos. Probably going for a pretty reliable vertical take here. Blackbeard to put pressure on the downstairs area. Oh, no, we do have a Goyo upstairs ready to keep and hold that space.
Lime already walking out on the Deimos. And they are aware of the identity of 3 characters on the other team, so no, not a bad option to bring this operator in for this first round. But
Yeah.
crucially, they do also bring along that Blackbeard. We were talking a little bit about how they were able to ban out both of those shield operators with the Monty and the Blitz, but there is still another, and it is the one with the most dangerous gun to deal with. So, not out of the woods is UND Black. The Boogie will be here, placed in lounge. Ooh, oh, wow. Hunted down is the Goyo. Eventually, I mean, that just ends up being a really bad first character to lose for UWP.
Especially with Rome, that means that all of second floor is getting absolutely shredded by the combined Boogie drones, and Deimos being there, Aruni holding Christmas, or no, it's Tubera holding Christmas, very strong position, everyone else holding upstairs. Interested to see how they push into this right now, because everyone else is still sitting on the first floor here, just waiting to try and, I don't know, perhaps bait out, maybe just force them to come in. Currently, the vertical it's open angles, sure, but nothing into any key positions right now.
And I think it's really interesting that we see, I was going to say, Frosty playing VIP on a very strange angle. Typically, you see those walls get reinforced, but simply a Rooney gate's going to be sitting there, allowing Frosty to have sightline onto anybody who might drop the hatch into Freezer. A very unorthodox setup, but every so often you see some interesting strategy like this pulled out. Love to see it. It is a fascinating thing, the creativity and reliability of Siege, but that is an unfortunate side effect. Every now and then you shoot out your own teammate's canister and die to the burn damage, and that's going to mean UWP is in a very compromising position, but Rusty does not care. Hits a couple of excellent DMR shots, and now it's down to the last few seconds. The diffuser is going down, but it's just Robo alive. A 1v1 between the Aruni and the Hibana, and Hibana wins it out. Barely winning that first attacking round.
Bearing 9 shot, but that was a very long but very quick round. Sure, it took the entire time, but it all fell into that last, 30 seconds? Where everything just kind of happened. Overall, it was very close for round 1. You're going back to the first floor with, a slight change in lineup. UWP maintaining the same 5 they chose before. UND swapping out a few operators, such as Deimos over to Ace, and another character that I'm forgetting to Zofia. Very interesting picks here. You see the Aruni opening up Freezer Wall again, specifically for those footholes. I gotta say, that's new to me, because usually I reinforce Freezer Door. But footholes along the entire way is an interesting idea, I have to admit.
They're probably going for the same relative setup that they had in the previous round, with Frosty playing over in VIP, waiting to see if anybody drops down the hatch. As you'll notice, there is a piece of barbed wire underneath the hatch. So, no effort whatsoever to stop that vertical take from happening.
Yeah. We did see UND swap back over to Hibana and Deimos and Nomad, so they are going for another vertical take, it would seem. Interested to see how it stops this round. You see Is that Colts again? Yes, Colts maintaining that second floor presence, whiffing on that drone.
You didn't have to say it like that. You didn't have to do him like that. Everybody, we all miss a couple shots every now and then. It's a little unfortunate.
Frost
It happens
trying
to
to
the
get in
best of
some
us.
pokes from the staircase, retreating to VIP.
So
see
last
Colts.
round, there were
Last round?
Rooney gates on the freezer wall. I don't think they're there anymore.
They are not. They were placed elsewhere, I do believe.
Oh, interesting.
Clearing out third floor here. Colts does go down to Cole, which does mean that that room is mostly clear. See Lime and Murray fighting. Baker assisting. Slowly taking in that vertical pressure.
A lot of damage being dealt so far, but minute 22 left, and I mean it still feels very close and very winnable for both sides, especially if you can manage to find a pick as important as the Deimos. Rusty playing in a very, very unconventional spot and not getting punished for it. No one in the right position to punish it even. Robo now maybe in a slightly precarious position. Has to move away thanks to the Ram. Knows that there's a player right above him, and in a 4 versus 4, you really do not want to lose out on your smoke. Especially with 45 seconds remaining in the round, it's going to come down to the wire. And those canisters could make all the difference in preventing a plant.
We are seeing a freezer-oriented push here. Tuberau holding off that staircase for the time being. Gas pipe goes off, doesn't find any kills, just delaying it a little bit. You see Baker here trying to get any sort of damage he can, barely missing. Some great picks by Rusty.
Oh my. Oh my! What a shot from Rusty. But it is a 3 versus 3 with Robo getting taken out of the equation. No smoke anymore to work with. But with 6 seconds left, I mean, you've got to get onto the site and start the defuse. Snow puddle on this Hibata. Not able to make it there in time. No defuse this time around. But, I mean, slight man advantage. They could have, if they'd moved even slightly faster, had a very real chance at taking that round.
Yeah. A lot of that round, I would think, comes down to just the strength of DMRs on defense, I would say. Not that they're too strong, mind you. I think they're fine. I think the ACOGs are debatable, but airing okay. But we're seeing that strength of just the high fire rate weapon at a range, and it's just the strength it can have. We are onto the second floor bomb site now. Fireplace and reading. Very traditional site here. And we are seeing a fair bit of wall denial. We do now have a Mozzie on the board, which is new.
Fascinating. Mozzie is on the board, as you say. I am curious to see why Mozzie is being picked here instead of the mute. Mozzie, obviously, a great gun, but those pests do not have nearly the area denial that mute's jammers do. So
They don't.
curious to see
But
if this is a specific play.
I can give this a but. Assuming the Mozzie is on the roam, or is helping the person on the roam, the pests being able to be set up so quickly and at a distance make it significantly easier. A great cave spot, honestly. I am going to have to use that.
That's a gross claw. I didn't even know that existed.
Gonna write that down for later.
Shout out to our observer for catching that one.
Yeah.
Absolutely
you
love
for
to see
that.
it. We had to give our observer a raise. Who is it? It's Peeb tonight. Big shout outs to Peeb. Big shout outs to Nuko as always for production as well. Legends, both of them.
We're seeing a bar take here. Figuring out the third floor, making sure the vertical is clear. Peeking of angles, but no exact information that's necessary for right now. We are seeing Robo on the Tuberau hiding in freezer, again with that DMR and ACOG, a very dangerous combination on defense. We also see Rusty, also with the DMR and ACOG. Oh, a
Oh my.
lead C4, taking out Baker. Cole getting a nice little trade back, but on very low health.
Yeah, that's a pretty excellent C4 to take the Blackbeard away. If you want to get rid of just one character, Blackbeard is probably the first option, the first priority for you. However, Lime has also gone down at this point, not to be picked back up. So no Lion. Now your job becomes significantly harder because despite the fact that you've taken out the top fragger in the form of
Oh.
Rusty, it
Oh, we got
is
C4.
still
C4
looking
out.
dire. Another C4 goes out, but this time not going to find any damage. But the shotgun in hand will be enough to knock down one and take another completely out of the equation. It's just a 1 HP Cole remaining alive for the side of UND Black.
They
And
go.
I mean, unless you can pull off some
Ooh.
heroics, it's not gonna happen. Frosty on this Mozzie will finish the round out. That is a
Nasty
second
angle.
successful defensive round.
Impressive stuff. You're seeing some very close matches here, some very obviously decisive picks that tend to move the round, but we are on to the next van phase. And we have Blackbeard and Tubarão
Not
for
shocking.
bans. So
Not
now all the
surprising.
shield ops are off the board, aside from my boy Fuse.
Yeah, they could run Fuse if you want. Sure. I
He's
don't
an
think that's
option.
what we're gonna. I don't think that's what we will end up seeing, but it is definitely an option. Now, interestingly,
Attackers need to locate
UWP
and
have
defuse
opted
bombs.
for the other second floor site. We are going to train. This is strange. I do not often see teams that play Cafe opt
And
to play
actively
away
avoid
from the third
the
floor.
third floor. I know.
Yeah,
it's
that's wild.
fascinating.
And this is
I
their
mean-
map pick too. They're comfortable
Yeah.
on this map, which means that they have played enough of it to realize that third floor is the one that they simply do not want anything to do with.
Yeah, Train obviously being a very interesting site because while they are somewhat connected, there is a fair bit of distance between the two sites. Are onto the action phase now. UND with the Twitch pick here, very interesting. Could be for the Goyos, could be for the Kaid Claws. I'd love to see how this plays out.
I do like the picks here coming out from UND Black, especially as you've pointed out the Twitch, which is able to get rid of a lot of utility on the side of UWP. So it would not in the slightest shock me to see this operator get some pretty immense value this round, assuming the shock drones don't get shot down immediately, which is always a distinct possibility. But right now, just clearing out Piano, which, by the way, I have a point I want to talk about later, but that will not be necessary for the moment, as we are finally entering the building as UND.
Bring it up in a bit. We are seeing a bit of a third floor hold going on. We've got Robo on the smoke in the bathroom, just getting bead out, grimmed out, whatever we're calling it. And we've also got Rusty on a Rooney holding Cocktail. Very slow push. We're already halfway into the round. No damage, no kills. Okay, there's a little bit of damage onto Cole here, but not too much. They're holding a very tight thing. Cole does go down.
Oh!
And then Murray gets another kill with a C4. Oh my god.
Uh-oh.
A Claymore kill from a run out? Everything is
Yeah,
just kind of
look-
happening.
Yeah, Rusty gets a pistol kill and then immediately walks into a Claymore. The life of an aggressive defensive player. But Grenade goes in to put some pressure onto Robo, does some damage, and another will be able to force him into Lime's crosshair directly. A very nice DMR shot directly to the face, point blank. And now the numbers are in favor of UND Black for what feels like the first time in ages.
40
Just
seconds left on
Murray
the
and
clock.
Colts. 40
We are
seconds
seeing-
remaining, as you say.
A very fast slowdown, trying to take time, throwing everything out for that final push. We do see the location of Murray in train right now. Colt's hiding on red stairs, just waiting for that position. Line scan goes off. Nothing being found. Oh, Murray getting
Nice
right into that angle now.
Oh my
Fantastic
god,
wall
what a
bang.
shot.
6 seconds left.
Oh, what? Losing track of the player there. Just dropping through the hatch. Oh, that's so
And a
tragic.
hip fire. Phenomenal stuff we're seeing. Tied round so far, 2-2.
Now, what I wanted to bring up about Piano earlier, I think it is fascinating that they are choosing to actively avoid that site on the top floor, because we talked earlier about how good Azami is at simply locking down Piano, just making sure that nobody can attack through it. And yet, we're through all of the ban rounds, and we are still not going there. And Azami is on the board. This is an option.
I hesitate to ask, do they have a good Azami player?
Surely.
Well, I mean,
Surely.
I ask. It is a potential. I mean, UWP maintaining mostly the same lineup, but we do see a swap over to Wamai. Very interesting change considering what we've done so far. Hatch not reinforced yet for Freezer.
As is pointed out by our observer once again.
Very fast work.
This is the same setup. The only difference is that because the Tubarão has been banned out, Frosty has gone over to the Wamai, and I don't hate this pick. I just question the strategy overall. Obviously, it's worked once, but the first time it didn't work very well, and now you're banking on it working a second time. And UND Black, they seem capable of, you know, adapting, changing up the strategies, doing things differently, and
We are abandoning that vertical play, it would seem, for the most part, in favor of a more horizontal take. Trying to push into Bakery here, but we've got Murray on the Warden and on the deployable shield here. Getting a little bit pincered out here.
yeah, there's
Cole on the Capitao ready to flush out any player at a moment's notice.
There's so
Murray
much
goes
pressure
down
being
to a
put
very
in.
tight angle. Do see some
lot of-
fall on UND.
A lot of pressure on that side of the map comes out from the side of UND Black's attack, but they still managed to lose out on 2 players despite flushing Murray out of that very, very difficult to dislodge position. And now without Baker and tanks, it becomes a significantly harder affair. Definitely not impossible with 90 seconds remaining in the round, but it is going to be interesting to see how they aggress into this one, and Colt is in such a sneaky spot, not quite able to get Puddle, but Puddle goes back to try and take the 1v1 and loses out. UWP, they just continue to win crucial fights all over the map, but Cole finally finding one right back onto Frosty.
Yo.
Make it a second onto Colt. Needs to find 2 more though, and Robo and Rusty, they've been looking good this entire time. Robo is in such a difficult to find position right now, and Rusty will not even let them have the opportunity to try as the DMR sings once again and picks up its 8th kill. Rusty has been on fire in this half.
Cole with a very good showing that round. Unfortunately, just not able to watch 2 angles at once. It's just kind of what happens. It's some very good play here. We are going back to Reading and Fireplace on the 2nd floor, still avoiding that 3rd floor pick.
Last round of the half, and we will not be seeing 3rd floor at all. It is a rarity in Siege to not see Cafe Dostoevsky's 3rd floor site, but here we are. It's happened. Was this on your bingo card? Because it wasn't on mine.
I was supposed to make a bingo card? Midwest
you
bingo would
slice
be
it up
pretty
very-
fun.
It would. It would. Midwest R6 bingo would go crazy. But anyway you slice it, this has been a very unconventional defensive half for the side of UWP on their own map pick, by the way. So I am curious to see if their strange and unusual strategies can lead them to a 4-2 half, or if UND manages to make this an even affair.
We do see Platteville with the mute pick on third floor, a very interesting choice, all things considered. You have University of North Dakota here with Fuse and Glaz and Sens and Thermite, some fascinating picks for, must I remind you, the second floor bomb site.
And it is a Fuse shield, by the way. They are, I mean, if the early rounds told us anything, it's that UND Black loves their shield operators, thus why we saw Blackbeard until his eventual ban. And now here we are once again, this time on the Fuse shield, the last remaining shield as it stands, available to UND Black. Slow Puddle has gone down pretty early though, and losing out on your Thermite is less than optimal to say the least. But on an off angle, it's very possible to get rid of that shield. Unfortunately for Frosty, the cover is there. Lime picks up a second kill on the map. But eventually Baker's luck runs out as the Fuse goes down with 90 seconds remaining in the round. It is 3 versus 3. Lime being the hero that UND has needed so far, finding several picks through the smoke. You still have to deal with the players upstairs.
We are seeing this mute on the vertical play, holding that crucial window. We are seeing UND all currently on the exterior right now, not choosing to re-enter the building quite yet. Robo finds a very crucial pick onto that window, just holding that super tight one-way angle.
It's such a difficult spot to dislodge players from, and I mean, it doesn't even seem like they have the numbers required to try. They know exactly where Cole is on this Sens, and I mean, they're forced to back away and run downstairs. We're into the 30-second range now, and it's rough. It's not easy pickings for the side of UND. You've got to be able to find these picks, but Robo jumps up from behind the desk to find a pick, and it will be a 4-2 half in favor of the side of Platteville.
A very strong first half to Cafe, a very interesting first half. Honestly, we could look at a few of these rounds later if we wanted to, and we could find some very interesting plays, I'm sure. UW-Platteville showing a very fascinating defense. We are on the first set of bans, being Mira and Monty again. Well, no, not again. Yeah, okay, different. Okay, bans that happened round 1 also happening round 2. Not round 2, half 2. You know what I mean.
I know what you mean. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. For the second set of bans, we get Castle and Ace, choosing instead to get rid of one of the hard breachers on the board. Still with the Castle ban, as I mentioned, especially for the first floor site, being some very strong picks. Well, not the first floor, for third floor, but...
Indeed.
Yes. I wonder, is Castle really used that much for the other sites? We are seeing UND move to the third floor here that we did not see last round. So now we get to see a defense here from this side.
And interestingly, making me look silly is UND Black. The first time we see a third floor defense, we don't see a zombie. Because we can't make Gedster look smart. That would be against the rules. But in all seriousness, this defensive setup, fairly standard. We do see the Valkyrie, a very oft-picked character when it comes to anywhere on this map, but particularly third floor. Echo is slightly unconventional, definitely not as good as he once was in his glory days, but a very good operator nonetheless. But my character that I'm most interested in is Cole on this Wamai, which we saw in one round, I believe, on the previous half, but played on the first floor and only after the Tubarao was banned out entirely. So fascinating to see this very different approach already, stylistically and philosophically, to this third floor defense.
I
that
would
we
like
didn't
to
even get
call
to see.
out Lime here on Solus playing from below. You do see some claymores on the window stopping a hop out, but with the Solus being able to obviously see the claymore, we could be in for a very interesting surprise here, especially with that vertical play. So I would love to see how well they can lurk here. Do see two taking a almost uncontested piano here. I take it back. We do have Cole on the deployable shield here, holding two very crucial windows here.
A whole lot of space is resting on Cole's shoulders. If you let that go, it becomes a very difficult affair to keep yourselves in it and intact. But that is a crazy run out angle. Not a whole lot of damage done, unfortunately, for the Solus. But Robo does eventually go down to a Nitro thrown by tanks.
That
Been a
is
little
the
bit
main
quiet this map, but
hard
coming out big
breacher
time.
for UWP down. Cole just barely hanging on, but keeping that super tight angle.
Extremely tight.
In fact, UWP does not have any secondary hard breach charges, so any reinforced walls are currently unavailable for use. You do see Colts on the Deimos tracking down Solus here. Overall, just trying to hold off that position as long as possible. You have 50 seconds left into the round.
Oh,
Murray
Murray!
does go down to the Solus from an unexpected position. Are seeing
Lime playing this round so well on the lurk. This Solus is just on fire, man. P90 in hand.
And the best thing that the Solus is doing is just staying alive and applying that pressure, which any good roamer needs to do. Deimos, even with the track, not enough to take down Lime on a hot streak. All we have is Rusty on top floor, 1v5 on the gridlock. We are going
Would have to be miraculous.
10 seconds left in the round.
It's not happening.
A quick swing from Lime again with the SMG-11, bringing us to the end of the first round of the second half.
I mean, great played defense from the side of UND. They managed to hold on without losing a single player. But I mean, Lime on that Solus, you pointed it out. But the best thing that you can do as a roamer is simply stay alive, especially if there's a player on Deimos on the other team, because they are going to they have to focus you. They have to make sure that they can lock down your position. And this time around, we're going back to the bottom floor. Lime still on that Solus, but tanks also playing the Vigil. So lurking is going to be a significantly more prominent strategy for the team this round than it was previously.
Yeah.
And I'm very excited to see how this one plays out, because UND Black, they looked extremely solid on that first defensive round.
Yeah. As has always been the case, the advice always given for roamers is your job is not to get kills, your job is to waste time. You are a magnet trying to pull the team away from sight and worry about you shooting them from behind. So having two roamers here on the first floor site being able to contest second and third floor, which we see both roamers are on the third floor right now. Just being able to hold that space and stop that free space from being taken. They're seeing Bakery play being held pretty strongly here. Mute with the C4, obviously, being able to just delicately hold that space, try not to get pushed out here.
Ooh, but Frosty with I think a slightly more aggressive push than what Slow Puddle was expecting, is down immediately is the Mute. And they should just be able to get this wall open relatively easy at this point. I mean, they've got the EMPs they need, they've got the Thatcher in position, and Cole is nowhere near the wall, not able to get it closed, but doesn't matter. The SMG in hand. Bandits found a couple kills nonetheless. Only 2 players remaining on each side of the server, though, and now Rusty the top frag of the lobby. Oh, no, not anymore. Excuse me. Cole overtook, but the top frag of UWP alongside Murray. 2 hard breachers left alive, and it could just be enough. You know exactly where the Echo is playing from with that drone. The question now becomes, where is Lime? Because that fragger is going to be a
Lime playing
problem.
on red, securing that great kill, and now we are into a 1v2 here. Diffuser is currently sitting in sight. Echo drone. We are seeing combat here. Murray does
It's a
take
1v1.
out Baker here. We are into a 1v1 with Solus. A great
Oh
headshot and swing by Murray, closing out this round.
Oh my god! What? That was disgusting. That was a disgusting 1v2
That was,
from Murray
as the
at the
Smash
very
community
end.
puts it, absolutely nasty.
I mean, I think we got to see that one again. Like we got to see a couple
Bring back.
highlights from that round.
Bring
First of all, Cole hitting those beautiful shots with the SMG in hand on Bandit does eventually get punished for it. But I mean, this flank from Lime, this Solus has consistently been in every single spot that she needs to be to find picks, waste time, as you were talking about earlier. It's been immaculate from the Solus so far, but it just wasn't enough in that round. Murray finding a 1 versus 2 at, like I said, literally the perfect time. You had to run down the Echo. You knew where he was, and you had to run him down. And then you had to take the 1v1 against the Solus. You did not have the time to get over to the Diffuser. Even if you had the Diffuser in hand, she knew exactly where it was because of her gadget. So taking that 1v1 was essential. And now back to first floor we go.
do see a swap on UND Black over to Jaeger and Fenrir. Some very defensive operators here. Obviously just being able to try and delay that space as much as possible. We are still seeing a very horizontal push here by UWP. Taking Small Bakery, finding a very early kill onto the Fenrir. A drastic shift. Fenrir staying alive is key to most defenses, and taking him out early is very important to any given push.
With 1 player down already, it's looking pretty alright for the side of UWP. It is the Fenrir that goes down though. So.
Lime sitting in second floor, just trying to, I assume, stay hidden, stay quiet. We are seeing a lot of windows being opened up for pressure, a lot of vertical space being taken, also for pressure. But still currently only the 1 kill on the board here. Lime does get thrown out. Currently running away. Dokeby Hall does go off, but Cole on the Jaeger takes out Thermite, delaying that hard breach just a little bit. Hibana still on the board though, still giving UWP an option here.
It's as you said, Hibana is still here.
Damage.
So. And they know exactly where Lime is at this point. They have so many angles on this Solus. There's no way that this character should be living for very much longer. But the frag grenade doesn't fully connect, so Lime given 1 potential more chance to take a gunfight in this extremely compromising position. It does find a pick onto Murray! What in the world was that? Surely near the end of the rope,
melee
though,
from Lime, not quite enough.
It's taken out of the equation. Now
Second
it's a 2 versus 3
does go
UWP.
off.
They need to find a way to
C4
get
out.
in on this one. And C4 doesn't quite connect. No damage even on that one. The Dokeby call is in, so they have a general idea of where these last couple of players are, but are they aware that there's one over here? Cole catches Robo off guard, and now it's a 1 versus 3 necessary for Colts to put them on match point. Otherwise, UND Black will keep themselves relatively comfortable for at least a little bit longer. 36 seconds now remaining for the side of UWP, and they won't be able to do anything with it. Cole finding the pistol kill to wrap up this round. 1 and done.
The newer pistol, in fact. Jaeger received it, the P10 P10C, from a recent buff. Just a very slight addition, but a very good addition. P10C being a pistol not used very often, mostly because the operators that have it either have better options or aren't used very often. For the second ban phase, we are seeing Solus and Dokkaebi off the board. Very reasonable picks considering what we've seen them do in the past few rounds, especially that Solus performing some phenomenal roams, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
Attackers need to locate
Yeah,
and defuse.
going
Back
into this
on-
one, we're back to the top floor.
Back to top floor. Right. Very similar loadout from before. Goyo, Womai, Valkyrie, or Naruni on defense. A bit more of a spread out hold. Still no Azami here playing piano. We are seeing a bit of a setup here, but nothing exactly for that traditional hold that people enjoy on this side.
With top floor in hand, they do bring along the Valkyrie, which is not surprising in the slightest, but I am interested to see why you've brought along the IQ. Obviously great for hunting down Valkyrie cameras, but outside of that, don't see a ton of value in bringing that operator in particular. Now, Wamai, once again being brought along, just like we saw last time, to hold this top floor, instead, in place of the Azami, really. Both of those discs being thrown down here in the top floor, just to kind of do the same thing that Azami does, and stall out a lot of the utility usage in there, but still an interesting pick that I'm not 100% sure about.
Are seeing Murray on the Sophia here. Kind of test out piano, see if there's any responses so far. Cole still holding his position quite strongly, obviously not wanting to give that up very much. Are seeing tanks here on Valkyrie, waiting for the run out just for that right time.
Oh! Not paying attention to the Claymore on the ground, though, and does get punished for his hubris as tanks no longer in the equation at all. And this gets thrown down as well, as a couple of flashbangs are being thrown into that one, so a lot of utility now drained from the side of UWP. Pockets being emptied out just a little bit here. Frosty goes down though, so
My disc out, he is in a more compromised position here, but Cole here still holding strong against this onslaught of utility. But the amount of time and items wasted is absolutely crucial. A very tight angle through the drone hole there, and we are seeing only a minute left in the round and some very low health players here.
yeah, a couple players down to around half or below half health, and the air jab may have just given this whole game away. Lime really trying to continue that pattern of excellent roaming, but gets entirely denied by the existence of the Nomad, but UWP managed to find a couple of picks regardless of that. Lime is also out of the equation now, so not going to be able to bring any of that value via the lurks, and with only 2 players remaining alive for the side of UND Black, UWP has to move in on this one pretty quickly here, but they don't have a ton of options, they don't have a ton of approach angles, and they get spotted out by the Azami, but there's only 1 player left. Murray finding Baker is huge, and they aren't able to get 1 pick, but Slow Puddle cannot deny the diffuser from going down and will eventually be killed. And just like that, we are looking at match point.
A very slight miss from the Aruni, but a very key miss, in fact. That was unfortunate, because obviously us being casters and the observer, we can see the outlines just barely to the side, denying that key plant. If those shots hit, that could have been the round, but instead, just that slight bit off, and we do see it go to what is currently 6-4, and as you just mentioned, match point.
Defenders, protect your bombs from being defused.
We
by
are
attackers.
on the... Are we going to be on 3rd floor again? 3rd floor again. Yes, we do finally see Azami here. Are we going to see this piano hold?
it's Azami and Wamai, by the way. they have brought along both of these operators just to continually keep this particular spot on the map locked down. They do not want anybody getting anywhere near, like, anywhere near the end. So the approach may have to change for UWP realistically here. I mean, you do see them running relatively similar operator picks here, but Frosty is interestingly going to be on the Jackal. Not an operator you see particularly often, especially with Deimos in the game, who I would argue is simply better than Jackal. But it is the decision they've made.
Jackal has a position mostly because with the Inox tracker, you don't have to scan the footprints, you can just run after him. But the thing is, especially with this, we are seeing Valkyrie playing below, which is notable, but mostly Jackal is for a much faster clear than Deimos, just because you can quickly check that person out to see if they're there. Frosty not even needing the Inox tracker to take out tanks who was on the roam here, making this push, I assume, so much easier for UW-Platteville here.
And in this instance, we're seeing why Azami is so good in this room. Any other operator would have crumbled under this pressure by now, but eventually Lime will say, nope, no thanks, I don't need any more bullets put into that Kiba. Still does not have the charge for the next one, but the moment he does, going to be able to re-establish that defensive position to his left, so...
Reloading, cover me!
And in the meantime, you still have Cole playing the Wamai in the exact same position that we've seen consistently this entire time that he's been on this operator in this position. Not a bad plan in the slightest, just to keep him there. It's been working, so may as well at that point.
We're seeing Lime and Cole here holding this key position in Piano. Just holding off this push here from the Hibana and IQ. Kiba barrier being redeployed here, holding that space phenomenally well. Lime getting another kill here, dropping out.
Yeah, Lime eventually returning to the lurking ways, dropping through the hatch, finding another pick onto Murray. Frosty this time, I think. I don't remember who went down first. But anyway you slice it, it's now a 3 versus 4 with 45 seconds remaining for UWP. They could still very realistically win this round and take us to our second map, but it's not going to be easy. Cole going down is the proper first step, though. That is one of the biggest threats on this team, but 2 more players will get taken out. And now it's all on Rusty, who has been playing so well throughout the entirety of this map, to end it, or risk potentially getting 1 step closer to overtime. And that is how this will go. Slow Puddle will peak at just the right time, and the Nomad will fall, and into round number 12 we go.
Impressive stuff. I mean, we just saw right there, you know, that an untapped zombie potential holding the 3rd floor. And we're just seeing how it can be so strong. We go back to the 1st floor here, going back to kitchen. We're seeing a similar layout from the last time we visited. Mute, Jaeger, Fenrir again, Valkyrie again. Very strong operator picks, just being able to hold that space, especially for the 1st floor bomb site being very, very important.
Last round of regulation here. If UND wins this, we're going to overtime, and the first team to get to round win number 8 will take us to the next map. But if UWP can manage a successful attacking round here, then we will be moving on immediately. Only a couple seconds remaining before we get into this next point, and I mean, there's a couple of picks here that I think are extremely interesting. Most notably, I mean, Cole on this Jaeger, not particularly standard as he used to be. Jaeger definitely not the operator that he once was, but still rather solid. Has his niches for sure. But I mean, I think that one of those characters you really need to keep an eye on is Rusty on this ram, because so much space can be opened up to peer down through those metal bars onto this bomb site. And those sightlines are going to be what defines this round's success for UWP.
We are seeing a very lengthy roam clear here, but UND choosing, in fact, to not have anyone up on the higher floors and just holding that first floor very securely. Now, on the topic of the Jaeger pick, I do want to point out that while Wamai is generally better for most sites, Jaeger's ability to constantly refresh his utility and hold key spots rather than Wamai's general flexibility does mean that he can be a great pick for these sites like Kitchen, where a lot of times pushes happen in very short bursts. So if those ADSs get a chance to reset, it does mean a lot of advantage is created.
We're already seeing the value coming from that ram. So much space opened up for UWP, but they still do manage to lose out on the first player, and it is that ram. 2 boogies go down, but still a very, very unfortunate character to be losing out on. You do get the trade, though, onto tanks. So Fenrir also out of the equation for now with 70 seconds remaining in the round. Very, very decisive one here for UWP. You would really like to be able to take this one away here, in a very scary gunfight occurs. Lime takes a little bit of damage, but no kill on either side of that one. Canister does get popped on the ground just to ensure that UWP cannot aggress directly into him, at least not immediately. But I mean, you do still have the ability to get through this wall very easily. The shotgun in the hands of Frosty. Zophia's explosive gadget if you are so in need of it. But the proximity detector tells Hitoyo everything he needs to know. Lime is able to find one pick onto an aggressing Zofia. 3 versus 3. 20 seconds remaining in the round, and Slow Pedal is the next to fall. Baker finding the trade onto Colts as well, and the bulletproof camera eventually being blinded. 10 seconds left. Murray has to get this diffuser down. No way they're able to get 2 picks in the next 3 seconds, but Cole falls. It's on to Baker. 4 kills. Would have to come up with number 5 and number 6 in order to save the map here. Knows where both players are, but can't do it. UWP will take us to map 2 after a grueling 7-5 affair.
A great final round there. Some very interesting plays here. Overall, a very strong showing from both teams. UW-Platteville just barely taking the edge there. Welcome back to Seeing Our Faces. A very great showing for round 1. Round 2 will be on to Clubhouse, if I recall correctly.
It is.
What do you think we're going to be seeing from that?
Frankly, I got no clue specifically what we're going to be seeing, but I can tell you what I hope we're going to be seeing. A map just as good as that one, because whew, cinema. It was beautiful. It was beautiful Siege played on both sides, and I am very excited to see us go into Clubhouse here, because Clubhouse is one of those maps where everybody's practiced it, everybody knows it, everybody's comfortable with it, and I cannot wait for it. So don't go anywhere. Map number 2 of Clubhouse right after this break.
talking about?
Hey, boys, I'm talking. We'll knock you out.
33 don't care 3 markets. Go to them. I don't want you to know them upcoming new markets. Go to watch out. What do watch out? Them stink like my money. By the way, I don't want you no knife. I only want you the river.
That's on the beat.
back. It's time for map number 2 between UWP and UND. I remembered, y'all. I remembered. And by that, I mean I had to look at the bottom of the screen to remember the abbreviation of the school name. But we're back nonetheless. Clubhouse is coming right up for map number 2. But before we get there, let's take a quick look at some of the stats from our first map, because they were rather interesting to look at across the board. Every single player had moments of brilliance, but I mean, Cole and Lime popping off with 14 and 13 kills each. But I mean, on the other side of the field, you just have that level of consistency. 3 players hitting that 2-digit kill count. What do you make of this, Genius?
Well, it's some very interesting stats. So the previous map, Cafe Dostoevsky, was Platteville's choice. That's the blue. That's the left side.
Indeed.
And we are seeing that they did win that map, but not by a very large margin. Specifically, if we look at the 2 bottom players on each team, they're very much being held, well, at least in comparison to the top 3 players. And we're seeing that a lot of, I would say, the prior round came down a lot to whether or not the roam could be held off for long enough, and whether or not the attack could find that the openings that they needed to in order to actually get in there. But we are going on to map 2, that was previously mentioned, is now Clubhouse. A very basic map, everyone knows it, everyone learns it, but that does not mean that it is a boring map. Clubhouse has a lot of different routes that can be taken, a lot of different walls, different pushes, a lot of variety. You can have ice cream a lot of ways, don't you know?
For sure. I am definitely interested to see how this particular ban phase plays out, because ban phase is often rather indicative of how teams will choose to play Clubhouse. And starting off with a couple of very standard bans, no Kaid, no Monty on the board.
Gotta make sure that those walls can get breached and those hatches cannot be dropped. For the second ban phase, we are going to see Maverick and Bandit.
Okay.
A interesting choice for a hard breacher band, I gotta say. Especially Mav. I mean, sure, yeah. The small holes are useful, but especially for a map like Clubhouse that has a significant amount of exterior walls, I'm curious as to why the Mav was taken out rather than someone like Ace or Thermite, especially with the knowledge that they were banning 2 biggest wall denial operators that they have. We are seeing a gym and master bedroom site. Very normal round 1 pick. Exterior walls getting patched up. Rotations being made. Very standard layout so far. We do see the Mira picks, notably not banned here. Mira being a very, very strong choice on this map, especially just being able to hold bathroom and that exterior wall there. Everyone else just designed to hold space and delay time for as long as possible, just getting whatever immediate pushes they have out of the way. As for the attacking side, which is UND Black, we do see the picks of, very notably, Thermite, Blackbeard being very strong operators, but interestingly enough, we do see Callie here, a very atypical pick for any map, really, aside from Bang, but especially for being on Clubhouse. I'm interested to see how this plays out.
What sidelines are you even looking to take advantage of with a Kali on your team here? I'm very unsure as to what the strategy here is for UND Black, but I suppose we will see. And the first pick does go the way of UND, but it is not via the hands of the Kali. It is instead the Nomad who finds it. Eventually, Frosty will be able to find not only the trade in return, but a second as well onto Baker. So that's your shield out of the equation too. This is a very rough start for the side of UND, but I don't think it's impossible, but it's definitely difficult at this point. That is a slight misstep from Frosty though, and that could be exactly what you need to get back into the round.
Some very quick picks here that are, it's notable for Clubhouse, especially with it being, generally speaking, as small as it is. We are seeing why the Kali was brought here specifically to close out those mirror windows, or at least break them temporarily. We do see Robo able to rotate out of that corner and get into a much safer position here. We are seeing them slowly taking that space that they're able to, slowly moving in on the bomb site.
Moving in pretty quickly here, Rusty. Shotgun in hand, just watching for a potential drop here, but I'm not sure that's going to end up being the play for anyone on UND Black. Lime on the collie, looking for a cheeky angle just to make this character work, make it, like, even comprehensible why you would pick it. Because thus far, I think the only reason you've brought it along is... Oh! I was gonna say you only brought it along for the Mira, but eventually finding Murray is an impactful moment, and it is what allows UND Black to snowball the round into a win by getting the last 3 kills, converting all 3 of them without dropping a single one of them in that last 3v3.
A great show. I think I can explain the Cali pick now. So for one,
Okay.
we do see the castle pick from Platteville here. Obviously, for lances, for castle barricades, math evens out pretty easily. But we also do see Platteville choosing the Azami pick here. Obviously, a very generically strong operator. We are back to gym and bedroom again. But specifically, if I recall correctly, with a stuff that happened a little while ago, Kali can now 2-shot Azami barriers. So it is great for just being able to, instead of using a frag grenade or anything, just very quick peeks, take out those barriers and clear out that space. A very interesting thing that I would like to draw attention to is that on the main exterior breach there is a gas pipe right next to the entrance, and both rounds so far that has been exploded prior to the action phase. Do you know off chance why teams decide to do that?
Well, I mean, if you keep that alive, then... Well, not alive. But if you keep that there, then it becomes difficult to continue to put pressure on the wall leading directly outside. Not that it matters too much. I mean, you don't have the access to Bandit. You don't have the access to Kaid. The only wall denial operator you have at all is Mute. And frankly, Mute tricking... There's a reason you don't hear people talk about it much, but yeah, that pipe being gone makes a whole lot of sense. And I would expect to see that pipe gone basically any time you see people defending on this particular site.
Very useful insight. We are seeing no kills quite yet. CCTV is going to be open. We are going to see a bit of a push here into the enemy team. We do have both on the Azami setup here, holding some very tight angles. We have Baker on the Blackbeard to push through, but there's a very strong UND presence here in the CCTV cache, and well, we're going to see how you are able to push into a defense that is as bulky as this.
A whole lot of resources being used by UWP to try and hold on to this particular position, but eventually one of those resources, being Colts, will fall, and an impact at the feet of Baker simply will not do a significant amount of damage here, and just becomes a matter of holding on to your position if you're Robo, but you simply cannot tank to find the second kill of the round. And with this Blackbeard pushing ever forward, another impact directly to the shield will do nothing. Cole this time from below, finding a pick onto Frosty. And I mean, this is a significantly better attacking execute for UND Black already. They managed to win off the back of a 3v3 last time, but now it's a 2 versus 5. Murray and Rusty all on their lonesome, and it seems like they are just not going to be enough. But, I mean, if anything can turn it, it's Murray in this weird position, but does get aggressive at maybe the exact wrong time, forced to back away as quickly as possible. And Rusty also so far away from the fight that Fuser goes down, as does Murray. And it's just not enough. Slow Puddle finishes off the flawless round here. And surely we have to see a mix-up on the site selection.
a very strong showing for that side, I've got to admit. I think a lot of the key of that defense was just being able to push through that CCTV cache setup, which is the bomb site that we are going to be going to this round. A very interesting thing with Clubhouse is how much the second floor sites interact with each other. Specifically, if you play one, it's generally expected that you also defend the other one, at least somewhat more loosely, just because of how small the upstairs area of Clubhouse is. It's almost essential that you try and maintain as much space as you can, just because of all the little openings that can be poked into your defense if you choose not to. Now we are seeing Robo here on the Azami in rafters, also with the Omai setup here, a very dangerous and very deadly defense, but as we see here, UND Black is choosing a lot of operators in order to flush out rafters here and just push out the Azami here. Capitao, a very strong option, my personal main. Very great at just being able to open and just create that opening and flush the Azami player out.
I do find it interesting. Typically, when you see this site held with the Azami up top, you also see something like a Jaeger there to put down the ADSs and protect her from the Capitao bolts, but no such protection for Robo right now, just left to his own devices. Could potentially end up being a bad call, but we will see later on.
You're seeing why this extended top floor hold being important here, with Baker on the Blackbeard right outside a bathroom, and Murray just trying to, well, they were holding it, just barely, but still being able to maintain that space and distance from the bomb site being incredibly important. Moving out at just the wrong time can mean, obviously, players like the Blackbeard just being able to take that space, hold that space, and create those angles that make pushes like these happen. Lime finding a fantastic pick onto Murray here, which means his poke now being out of the equation completely.
The use of the Rauda here, very fascinating character. Being able to close off doors from the opponents, assuming they can't see the side with the bullet trigger on it, but anyway you slice it, makes it harder for defenders to really play the map, really do the lurking that we've seen come out so much in this game. And I mean, Lime was doing the lurking, but who better to shut it down than the lurker of the MVP lurker of the previous map? But amidst all of that conversation, two players will still fall. With Colts playing downstairs below the site, I'm not sure anybody else from the side of UND really is here. This seems to be a pretty definitive horizontal take. P4 goes out, Baker takes a lot of damage, but it won't be enough to take him out of the equation. Tanks, though, does catch a bullet directly to the dome. Eventually, this diffuser will start to go down. Baker very low on HP, but there just is not a way to punish this plant. 45 seconds now remaining for an attempt at a retake for UWP. They do get the first pick. A second potential here! And eventually Colts does find it, but it was a rough go of it. Baker goes down. It's just Cole remaining down below. Manages to find a significant chunk of damage, but maybe not going to end up being enough as Rusty begins the process of the defuse, but won't be stopped as he's sitting on top of the desk. Buck cannot shoot through that with the skeleton key. And UWP finally picks up their first defensive round.
A wonderful showing, honestly. Especially, as I previously mentioned, being able to take that top floor control being very important, and also that bottom floor support, especially for Cash, being able to open up that vertical play. But as we can see, there are a lot of very important spaces that you need to hold, like the staircase there, being able to just take the area that you need to take and then quickly move off that. We are going to see a move into basement here. Real quick, I just want to note one thing. Raura with the door sealer dom panel, that's the name of it. The target, I guess, for lack of a better term, can be seen on both sides. You just have to be close enough in order for it to activate.
You're right. correct.
Yes. Now,
Not me
what I
forgetting
do
how
want,
new operators work.
no worries. Now, what I do want to bring attention to here, aside from the very obvious mirror pick, is that we do see Frosty here on the Denari pick, a very strong operator the more open a site gets, and especially for something like Church and Armory here, with the Glaive shot being able to open those holes. A lot of Denari's strength comes from long, intricate mazes of those tripwire connectors, and we are seeing it happen right here. I saw a guide a little while ago, and you can do some absolutely crazy stuff here. But an interesting decision to place the trip connectors on the main stairs, almost invisible. Yeah, that's some very annoying, almost like a little proximity sensor that deals a bit of damage. I might be able to utilize that a little bit. We are seeing a very heavy tunnel push here with, what is that, Robo here on the smoke, being able to hold off time as much as possible here.
Stall that out for as long as you possibly can, and UND, once again, we are seeing their affinity for shields, their love for these shield operators, as Blitz is brought along, and this seems to be a very aggressive, very fast attack through dirt with the Blitz in hand. Smoke, though, is here to stall it out for as long as possible, and that, by the way, that Robo just shot, excuse me, is the second Twitch drone. So Twitch will not be able to get any value out of those drones for the entire remainder of the round here, which would have been really nice to attempt at least to get rid of some of those Denari tripwires. A whole lot of stall here, but meanwhile, elsewhere on the map, Frosty goes down to the hands of Cole. That Capitao, absolutely brutally deadly so far. Not going down, but 4 kills to his name. Oh my god, thanks! Through the cracks in the wall, managing to find a couple picks with the DMR. And this dirt push, despite the fact that it was stalled for so long by the smoke, just will not be denied. So many perfect steps. And I mean, the smoke being there is so huge, but you can't stay there forever. You can't just keep smoking it. Eventually, another attacking round win.
Smoke canisters lasting for, I believe, 10 seconds, so 30 seconds total of denial, is great for being able to hold off that dirt tunnel push. But keep in mind, while we had 2 players on each side stuck there, that also gave room for everyone else able to just come in and sweep, like, basically the entire area. And that's where we see a lot of distraction play, for lack of a better term, of just being able to draw attention to one specific area to where a threat is perceived, and obviously moving around to a different area where there is the actual threat. Are seeing the gas canister blown up again, as mentioned previously, important for just being able to more easily hold that exterior wall.
Right. I mean, it's going to be used against you if you don't get rid of it. That's just the reality of the situation, so most teams just opting to break that before the round even begins.
Attackers must locate
But
and defuse
slightly
the bomb.
different setup this time around for the side of UWP on this defensive half. We did not previously see the Aruni or the Fenrir, I believe, on this site, so a fascinating adjustment here. Remains to be seen how well it will pay off, but UND once again running in with a couple of shield operators. Blitz, typical, what we saw last round. Tanks, though, this time on the Osa, an operator we have not yet seen in this match, so curious to see how that plays out. No, wait, we have seen Osa today. I lied.
You know, for such a strong, what is currently a CCT being cash hold, we're not seeing very much effort put into actually defending the bomb site, and I feel like that's a very critical weakness that, if exploited, could really handle the round, because as we're seeing here, with so many people off-site, if you can capitalize off that space, which is what I assume we're going to see here soon, right when that is detonated, is that we're going to be able to see how quickly everyone has to fall back onto site. Your wall does get open.
Ooh.
You're seeing everything fall into place here.
Ooh. Good shots here, but you do now have a problem if you're the side of UND Black, and it's that you've lost out on your blitz. The diffuser is down, but it may not end up being a problem at all as the guns are singing. The bullets are ringing in the ears of their victims, at very least until they actually hit the domes. And suddenly UND Black, they take a guaranteed lead here in the first half as we go into round number 6, the final round, where they will be attacking on this map, unless, of course, we go to overtime.
What can I say? I called it. A lot of Siege is just being able to find the weakness and exploit it. And as we saw there, we saw the defense being spread very thin, and we saw them put a lot of pressure onto one single area. And that's how you win. You figure out what needs to be done, and then you do it. You see here, back to Cash and CCTV, currently what you see, very dedicated hold. There is no Azami on the board, which means Rafters is going to be a little bit easier to take, but we do see the Jaeger now still being able to hold, and with a recent change, where Jaeger can now catch the Capitao bolts, a very important change. You see a mirror being put down on the exterior wall. A interesting choice, I have to admit.
Mirror trick, baby.
Well,
Definitely a less... It's not as easy to pull off as something like a bandit trick, but a mirror trick is a fairly standard way to keep a wall closed for as long as possible. It does come with the downside of being forced to open that window at a certain point, but eventually it does end up leading to the fact that there is only a hold that cannot be jumped through and cannot be very easily pressured, but not a whole lot you can do about a hard breach charge being put near the top of the wall, like what Tanks is doing right now. P4 out the window will take the hard breach charge out of the equation for now, but there will be another in the hands of that striker. Perhaps not placed down there,
we are seeing the lack of the bedroom hold here coming into play, but due to the gadget gas pipe, we are seeing a bit more of a temporary hold off. Not much of an option for a flank due to the dom panel blocking the main doorway, but it is still an option. We are seeing Cole playing a very tight vertical angle from underneath, not exactly hitting any key players right now. A very stagnant point right now. Just some shots traded off, time being wasted here, halfway into the round.
pressure from below. Cole currently in a similar position to where we've seen him previously, but they know where he is roughly now, and losing out on Robo is very bad for them, but there is still a relatively decent chance that UND can lose this one out. I mean, Baker and Colt, both extremely low HP right now with only 60 seconds remaining in the round. If you rush into this site too quickly, you risk making a mistake and losing out on one of your most crucial players. Tanks, though, still the crux of this round, still one of the most important players alive on either team. Currently on 8 kills and in a great position to find another, and onto Rusty, as I say it, but does eventually get down, so effective 4 versus 3 to finish this one off, and Baker gets downed by the shotgun, dropping the diffuser onto the ground. Will get finished off by his own teammate's bolt, but it's just a couple players remaining. UWP not able to pressure out the diffuser. 45 seconds now remaining for Colts to pull off a 1 versus 3 for the ages, but being provided very little room, very little time, very little opportunity, and none left. 5-1 half for UND Black on their offense.
A very aggressive start from UND Black here. Obviously, swapping back over to the defense, we're going to see if they can keep up this advantage or if the advantage will swap over to the attacking side here. But yeah, that was a beautiful final round for that first half here. For the first set of bans, we are going to see Kaid and Ace go. Again, very typical considering the importance of the exterior walls here. Ace being able to, especially on CCTV, being able to breach from the repelled position, very important here. Second set of bans going to be Bandit and Thermite. So
Yep.
no hard breaching, no hard breach denial. A very nothing set of bans, honestly, but well, not really actually. I take that back. A lot of the site is being able to get open those hard breach walls, and we are going to see the choice of Hibana here as one of the last remaining hard breach options.
Attackers need to locate
We
and
are
defuse as
on
many bombs as they
to
can.
gym and master bedroom again, and with a very normal setup, but I would like to bring attention to the Frost here. Obviously, not a pick that you see very often in higher level play, since just look down and shoot the Frost Mask, idiot. But a lot of the times, especially for the Logi hatch, or for very small corners or windows where you need to be checking other angles, like the one we're seeing right there in construction, it creates a trap, really. Either they're forced to look into the frost mat and potentially get shot from an outside angle, or they look around to the outside angles and miss the frost mat. It's a game of information that they're playing.
I would like to point out, by the way, I've mentioned this earlier in the broadcast because my producer mentioned it to me, but I needed to be reminded just now by our observer Keeb. UWP is Division 2 here in Midwest R6. UND Black, Division 3, currently punching up into the higher division against one of the lower ranked teams, and on this map they are looking, I dare say, pretty dominant as it stands. I mean, a 5-1 half on your attack is kind of absurd. Now granted, they did also get 5 rounds on the previous map, so this has been a close affair previously, but I mean, UWP did not have 1 round when UND had 5. That would have been a legendary comeback, but it's not what happened. UWP is currently on the precipice of losing out on this map so miserably that they go into our final map of the day on Skyscraper on the back foot completely.
We are seeing Slow Puddle here being able to just maintain and hold that area on the Warden. Elsewhere, we're just seeing generally a lot of denial just over TV. Murray here on a very off angle does catch the Warden out, aims to get that kill, making it a little bit easier to push into it. Or Defender Mine does go out, but we are seeing them fall back to site a little bit, being forced into that space. Colts gets a little bit too aggressive and does fall to the Fenrir.
And that's not an operator you want to be losing early, man. Like, that's the Dokkaebi. I mean, the logic bombs, they charge up. You get multiple throughout the round. You don't want to lose her immediately, especially not as your first pick. But anyways, Slice It, you still got options of the UWP. But they are dwindling by the second. Baker able to find another. And Frosty getting downed by the Frost Mat. Is able to pick themselves back up, but going to be limping and struggling for the rest of the round. Doesn't matter though, does manage to find tanks regardless of the limp. Moves slower, but gun still works just fine. But you've got to be able to get in. And you've got to be able to stay alive. And no! Another Frost Mat! 2 in 1 round! But it doesn't end up mattering. UWP will win it out anyway. But what a mildly hilarious way for someone to die in a given round. 2 Frost Mats.
Yeah.
Yeesh.
Well, that's why we're seeing Frost be a pretty good pick here. It's like I mentioned, it's needing to look at all the other angles and not exactly expecting it. I mean, if you think about it, a single drone ruins a lot of trap operators, but assuming you're pressured into I was about to go into something,
Oh.
but we did
Attackers
just have
need
a
to locate
disconnect
the
happen
defused bomb.
with Murray leaving the game.
And it does look like a rehost will be necessary. You do hate to see it. Every now and then, this sort of
Yeah.
thing does just kind of happen. We are still at 5-2. Nothing about that is going to change. But, you know, the stats are going to be a little messed up when we look at the scoreboard at the end of the game. I assume we probably get the screenshot of the initial one real quick and then just combine them for that fun little graphic that we saw at the end of map 1 before this one started. But
Yes.
anyway you slice it, I mean, tech issues do happen. I'm happy that it happened in the prep phase instead of in the middle of an important 2v2 clutch or something like that. But anyway, slice it. We're pretty deep into this map at this point, Genius. Do you see a realistic universe for Platteville coming back and just taking the series 2-0?
I would say yes, honestly, because we're
Okay.
we're sitting at 2-5 right now, which is
Mm-hmm.
obviously a bit lopsided, but we did just swap over to the other side of the defense, and there's still quite a lot of opportunity for what is now the attacking side to repeat what happened previously, which is some very strong attacker-sided pushes here. And yeah, I think game 3 is a very real possibility that I would love to see, honestly.
I definitely would love to see a game 3 here. I mean, a comeback to win 2-0 would be absolutely absurd on UWP's part. That would be a phenomenal story to tell your grandchildren one day. Like, one time I'm in round 1 of playoffs against a team that we are trying to punch up against. No, excuse me. That we are at threat of being relegated against, and we still won despite going down 2-5. You know, that'd be cool. But,
Yeah.
I mean, map 3, it I don't want to say it feels inevitable, but this definitely feels like a map that North Dakota is very practiced on at this point. They are looking, they look lights out on their attack.
Yeah, and obviously, as I've been pointing out for the previous couple rounds here, we're seeing how Clubhouse really, as a map, makes good use, well, forces you to make good use of the space that it provides. A lot of very tight angles, a lot of very close quarters, and we're seeing that if you can deny the specific angles that are needed and deny the specific areas that are needed, is that you can hold off for a round for so long that you left with 30 or so seconds to plant. And oftentimes, as long as you have one good lurker in sight or one roamer just nearby, that can usually spell the end for any given round.
Yeah, for certain. We are still waiting on players to get back into the lobby real quick. So, uh, I think now is as good a time as any to go to a very, very short break while we get players back into the lobby. So don't go anywhere. The thrilling conclusion to Clubhouse coming right up next.
Hey, boss, let me talk to you. We knock you out.
33 don't care 3 man. Go to them. I don't want you know them upcoming new artists. Go to watch out. What do watch out? Them stink like my money. By the way, I don't want you no nice. I only want you the river.
Dead on the beat.
Some slight technical difficulties, y'all, but we're back for map number 2. It's currently 2-5, and not looking amazing for the side of
Platteville.
I forgot the name of it. Platteville. I forgot it again. Ah.
You'll be all right. Don't worry.
I'll get there.
We're
But
on
we're going back
2-5.
in very shortly here.
We're ready to start. Platteville currently on attack, and yeah, we're ready to see a round. We're ready to see a round. Yeah, obviously.
Yeah.
Really,
Dude,
that's
we're
how
seeing
it
a
works. You
round?
see a round and then another round. Wow, that's crazy.
Dude.
Is there going to be a third round? Maybe.
Maybe. Who knows? We
a
know we're
recap-
at least going to see 2 rounds. Because if UND Black wins this one and the next one, we're going to third map. But we could see more than that.
We are on round 2. Bands of the defense with Kaid and Bandit. Offense with Ace and Thermite. We are going to a basement bomb site. A very, it's a reliable bomb site. Very run-of-the-mill, honestly. Cut and dry. Hold the right areas, you win the map. Specifically, Dirt being in a very strong position here, and we do see Goyo and Legion brought specifically to at least slow down these pushes from these very strong areas we're seeing. We do see Legion here roaming second floor, actually getting the exterior jacuzzi wall. I'm interested to see how well that deep of a roam plays out here, especially with Dirt Tunnel being currently unreinforced. There's soft walls out there. Interested to see if they do capitalize off of that, or if they decide to go somewhere else.
Now, the amount of defensive pressure that they've put on Dirt is literally just a basic barricade, not even a castle one, and a Goyo canister. It's just those two things, preventing people from just walking directly into the site from dirt. But potentially could be enough if you can lurk and stall for long enough that upstairs just doesn't get any value. Eventually, maybe you even get a pick, and suddenly it becomes very difficult for UWP to attack the downstairs site at all. So, very typical defense, but dirt definitely a slight, I wouldn't say weakness, but a soft spot in the defense. But definitely not a soft spot on these main stairs as Robo gets taken out pretty quickly.
We are seeing, obviously, the strength of Hold here on the Legion, holding a very strong top floor, currently being abandoned due to the pressure that UWP is putting on the defenders here. But we're already seeing halfway into the round, and not much being done in actual aggressive play here. We're seeing the strength of the roam here really coming out here in full force, of just being able to waste so much time.
Start punching.
6,
Keep going.
7, 8.
Oh, we don't even get to see it break. Boo.
Oh, boo.
Boo. But it eventually goes down. But that is so much time drained for this Ash, who just needs to sit there and, you know, deal with the fact that there is, in fact, a castle barricade that's been set up. That is the utility of the castle. You bring them along specifically so that you can stall people, or so that you can cut off sight lines. All of these very important functions of this character just make him so much more difficult than people initially realize when they pick up this game. Source, me. I tried to pick up Castle very quickly after I picked up this game. Fun character, but difficult. And you know what else is difficult? Attacking into a UND black defensive setup, because, I mean, UWP just can't find a way in. Every single angle they try, they meet a bullet. And with 10 seconds left, it's 2 versus 3. It's winnable side of UWP, but not anymore. In the final seconds, both players get melted down to a fine paste. And just like that, we are on map point for UND Black.
As we're seeing, Castle wins games. Not necessarily for your team sometimes, but Castle wins games. Just those barriers being able to cut off anything, or at the very least just delay time for, gee, I don't know, what, 10, 15 seconds? It can just be so important. As we also saw that round, the roam, especially from Cole here, being very important. It's just being able to clear the drones, clear out a few people, as we see with Legion Mines, waste time, get in little tiny pokes of damage that just soften up the enemy, so that once the actual push comes, it's much harder for the attacking team to actually securely get into sight and put the diffuser down. We are seeing, a catch CCTV hold here. Very interesting setup with the Mira, assuming that they are able to hold red. That's going to be a very strong one, but if they lose control of red stairs here, that's going to be easily able to be turned over to the enemy here. You see the Azami here for rafters. Castle, obviously great for holding off a push. Mute and Lucy also there just for general utility. For the attacking side, we do have a lot of great options here in order to actually push through into Garage here, but I need to see how this plays out. It all depends on whether or not we can actually flush out the player in rafters to get that secure push.
Another instance of a mirror trick here. Walls likely to remain closed for now, with the mute jammer shutting down the Hibana pellets near the bottom. And, I mean, both of those impact EMPs miss entirely. Never mind, there just happens to be a second jammer. Yeah, you know what? Fair enough. If there's a second jammer, then, you gotta be able to find that one. But anyway, it's a 4 versus 4 now, as Murray and Cole removed from the equation. Frosty also on very low HP at this point. But, I mean, Robo through the hole created by the X-Kairos is able to find Lime. And that is not what you want to see if you're UND. Still 3 players alive, all on full health, by the way. Not over for the side of UND Black.
Let's see. We do see a very low health cap
Oh.
go down. Holds also go down to a very wonderful castle hold going on here. We are into a 2v3 right now. Minute still left on board. Dopey Call goes out. And you're seeing the mute jammers come into great play here, being able to deny all those Hibana pellets. It would be opening so many normal angles here. Just so much failed potential, I guess. Just all denied because of these phenomenal mute jammer placements.
It's been real rough for side of UWP just to get in on this one, especially with that mute. Just even from beyond the grave causing so much of a problem with these jammers that he left behind in memoriam. And with Rusty going down, it just gets so much worse for Robo. 20 seconds remaining and you've got to find 3. They know exactly where you are too, so every single player from UND Black is about to be moving over towards your location. But Robo manages to find the first damage from the second, but gets cut down by the third. The map is over. We are going all the way to a map that neither of these teams have played this stage in Skyscraper.
A great round 2. A great showing just from both teams, honestly. But we do see here UND with their own map pick being able to press that very slight advantage here, taking control of what they could and showing off really a lot of their great strategies here. And we are going to go on to map 3 after this, which I remind you is Skyscraper. Neither team having played around on it this season. And I'm just curious to see what strategies are used, how each team adapts to the map, and really just everything. I'm excited.
It's going to be a good one, y'all. I am so happy that our first round of playoffs, we end up getting a 3-mapper for the broadcast. Don't go anywhere. When we come back, the thrilling conclusion.
talk to him.
Hey, boys, let me talk to you. We knock you out.
33 don't care 3 marks. Go to them. I don't want you, know them upcoming new artists. Go to watch out. What do watch out? Them stink like my money. By the way, I don't want you, no knife. All the way you're doing for.
We're back and it's time for Skyscraper as we move into the decider map in this round 1 playoff match here in Midwest R6. Once again, I am Gedster. I am joined by Genius, and we have been witnessing a very, very interesting series so far. Map 1, pretty close, 7-5 affair. Map 2, not even remotely close, 7-2. It looked completely dominant from the side of UND. We got there eventually. I'm going to
We'll
keep
get
making
there.
this mistake.
So for Game 3, as mentioned, we are going to Skyscraper, a map that neither team has played this season. A map that I have not seen played this season, at least for the matches that I have commentated. So I am curious to see the strategies that are going to be used here. Skyscraper has a lot of soft surfaces, a lot of very important walls and windows to keep track of, and a very important roam that has to be taken care of. I believe those 3 being the very important parts to every site on this map, honestly. And a lot of the counterplay tends to come from what you can do to stop any fast pushes and what you can do to make areas more unsafe, at least to exist in, due to a lot of very open spots, especially for a drum, for example. It can be very hard to hold that if you don't have the roam properly cleared out. So a lot of Skyscraper is about that area control, and that's what we're going to be seeing here as we go into the game.
It's going to be very interesting to see this one going in because, I mean, one of the things I'm very excited about is in that first map on Cafe, we saw a fair amount of, I believe it was Cole playing the Solus and lurking to excellent effect. It was phenomenal stuff coming out from that player in particular. So I'm hoping we continue to see that operate. I think she's cool. I'm happy she's back because of the recent and frankly, Cole's kind of cracked. Cole's kind of good at the character. Fairly standard opening band once again. Fade is gone. Ace is gone. Who could have seen this one? Our second round of band. Monty off the board. So UND not wanting to deal with a taste of their own medicine, a team that has been extremely reliant on shields in their attacking halves so far today.
Yeah, as we see I'd like to point out the defense side because they're using a lot of strategies that I actually tend to use, at the very least in unranked. Specifically, I want to call out the Fenrir and the Ella. Now, Ella, generally regarded as one of the weaker operators with a lower impact gadget, but a lot of the strength from Ella comes from being able to, especially on the big windows like the one in Karaoke, being able to, at the very least, stun or catch off guard any attacker that might be coming through here. Fenrir with a very similar job of being able to kind of disrupt any push once it's actually committed to taking an area. We are seeing a very wide, spread out roam here, especially by the Ella, of just being able to try and cover space and prevent them from taking it. Bandit also on the roam after setting up the battery is a very interesting choice, but then again, we do see the Twitch here to potentially counter it. Interesting to see how that plays out.
Electricity stopping this wall from being very easily opened, which just means that the attacking force of UWP will be rotating elsewhere, taking their business to a different corner of the map. The battery could still potentially be placed down here, but it does get broken by the Zophia's gadget. And it does look like they are going to attempt to bandit trick away that charge, which they will do successfully. I imagine there will potentially be another attempt to get rid of this battery, but surely at some point they must realize that this wall is a high priority for Cole, and I mean, they definitely realize it now that he's managed to find Frosty. I imagine through that window, but I'm not sure at all. Thanks as well finding Colts. And it is starting to look kind of rough for UWP's attack.
We are seeing, obviously, a very strong defense here. Fenrir now rotating over to hold a bit more of the roam here. And overall, it's just being able to try and hold this very delicate area here. You see one sitting on the rappel over there, a few others elsewhere, trying to take whatever space is possible here. But we see the defense here very close and just refusing to give up any space that they don't need to, which is exactly what they need to do on this map in order to succeed. About a minute left for the round. We're seeing this window being very tightly guarded. It's not going to be easy to get into it.
Definitely not. And I mean, that's such a scary angle to have to deal with. A run out from Lime. Another one of those players that stood out so heavily on the first map, but couldn't quite convert the ludicrous amount of frags into a map win. Hoping to change that pattern here. And they know that at least one player is going to be at the bottom of the stairs here. They're just going to throw down a smoke canister. Stall out even more time. Only 30 seconds remaining in the round and very little hope remaining for UWP, especially as Lime finds another pick onto Rusty and another onto Robo to complete the flawless, gorgeous stuff coming out from Lime on this Ella pick.
We are seeing UND here do exactly what they need to. Stop any fast pushes, stop the roam from being cleared, and just holding on to the control that they need to keep a hold of. We see here UWP going for a similar site as we go now to the other second floor site, that being exhibition and office, with some very important exterior walls that need to stay shut. As we see here with the bandit and mute picks, they aren't going to be giving that up very easily here. We do also see Castle coming out here to, well, just slow down the attacking push, and with that UMP 45, also just holding off a lot of key angles. Because with a weapon with a slow fire rate, obviously, it's much easier to one tap or just keep a steady stream without, getting caught up by those little pixel angles. Castle being very good here, especially for Dragon, which is a very key piece of map control, especially for this site. Being able to hold that, and the window, and the door, and just being able to safely peek up and out from behind that statue is very important in the map. You see some footholds here on the exterior wall, a very interesting choice.
That is an interesting choice, especially considering I've seen teams do this every now and then, but usually it's in conjunction with a mirror, because the mirror allows you to safely peek those footholes and not have to worry about, getting shot from the breach itself. But I mean, this time around, they're not doing anything so safe. They don't even have the option. A very similar attacking setup so far here, as this wall, very clearly Robo wants it open and expends one of the explosive charges available to Zofia to ensure that the battery vanishes and do a decent amount of damage to Baker, but I mean, that bandit is stretched thin and can't protect that wall from being opened, and that's just a case of looking the wrong way at the wrong time for Cole. Losing out on Warden that early. Not the end of the world to lose that operator in particular, but still sucks to be down a man. UWP, now feeling a little bit more confident.
Warden going down early is a bit of an issue, obviously, for the man at disadvantage, obviously, but also to be denying those smoke plants, the flash plays. Warden just being able to at least walk into those without as much fear is important here. We are seeing a very slow roam clear here, but a lot of the pressure being put on here is mostly from Baker here on the bandit, of just the batteries here being able to exist and hold the space that they need to. We do see a Blackbeard here in sight. Baker sitting behind that bar area, just holding that space, not revealing himself very carefully here. Oh, hurry on the Blackbeard does go down. Very important here.
It's a little bit of a dive into the grave. A dolphin dive, if you will. But 4 versus 4 now. And the big difference right now is the fact that UND Black is taking a very significant amount of damage between Tanks and Baker, but it may not end up mattering anyway. Tanks manages to find one of the 2 remaining players, and now it's a 2 versus 3 as Robo manages to clap back a little bit here, but Rusty gets taken down by the shotgun of Slow Puddle, and now with the beeper letting everyone know exactly where Robo is. This feels worse and worse by the moment. 15 seconds remaining, and you need to find 3 shots. 3 beautiful shots. Belusi Gadget slowing you down, and that's another successful defense after, I mean, losing out on the first player. You go down a man, but you still recover that round excellently.
Yeah, I mean, as mentioned, we're seeing how improper flank watch, for example, means that the defense is able to just sneak up behind you and pincer you from behind like that. And as we saw here, a masterful execution like that can just win you the
Attackers need to
round.
locate and defuse
You know, when
the
you're not
bomb.
expecting it, and they just sneak up right on you. That kind of spells the game here. We do move to kitchen and barbecue here. Generally the more preferred first floor site here, mostly because of, I guess, familiarity, honestly. Oftentimes when I'm playing this map, it rarely ever goes to a downstairs site, but when it does, a lot of the importance is holding whatever vertical space there is above the site. As we see here, we've got a Castle and a Frost and a Bandit here, all holding above site. It's a very important position here, especially with all the vertical that it offers.
There is a lot, and Geisha is going to be one of those spaces that is extremely crucial for UND Black to hold on to here, which is why we see resources like a Bandit Battery expended on the outside wall leading into Geisha. But the attack is coming in from the complete opposite side of the map right now. Blitz, Robo, running through, just making it so much more difficult for UND Black to retake this space. This shield operator, uniquely equipped to play particularly aggressive Rainbow Six in comparison to a Blackbeard, to a Monty. Taking so much early space here on the top floor, but not enough quite yet to find a pick. And as Frosty takes a little bit more space here, both with Gadget and with Soft Breach Charge. Drum may need to be given up eventually, but losing out on Tanks is so bad for UND. Those traps are still going to be down somewhere, but it's not a great sign to lose out on such a gun, such an impactful gun this early in the round. Lime also going down, and Robo gets knocked in the midst of all this, but picked up very quickly. Nitro in an attempt to take the Blitz out of the equation, but it just won't be enough. It's down to a 1 versus 5 for Slow Puddle, and the C4 will not get anything done. Everybody on the side of UWP is low HP, but none of them will go down as a flawless round comes through. This is the danger of the basement sites, first floor sites rather. They're so much easier to attack than the top floor.
God, I feel like I barely had a chance to talk that round. It was just action piece after action piece.
Yeah, my fault, man. My apologies.
Well,
I didn't have
no, I
time to
don't
hand it
blame
over.
you. It was a very tight round. As we go here to the second ban phase, we see Bandit and Blitz off the board. Very reasonable picks here. Obviously, UWP is squeezing every ounce of advantage they can here out of the shield operators. As we see here with Blackbeard and Fuse still on the board, that still means 2 shield operators. As we move into, as we're back to karaoke and tea room now, obviously a very strong site. We see
Attackers need to locate and defuse
nothing
as many bombs as they can.
important from the last time we held here. We still have Benrir and Ella to hold off all the entrances, Mute to hold off, you know, information, and then obviously Smoke and Malusi just kind of slow down everything and just force the enemy team to take a moment, just be able to clear out and push forward.
Definitely,
Yeah.
makes sense that we're going back to this site as well. So, not at all
10 seconds
surprising.
left
I
before
do
insertion.
wonder, though. I assume that Robo
5
playing
seconds to
Fuse here
insertion.
will be playing the shield. Yeah, he will.
Attackers are moving out to locate
So
a bomb
double
and defuse
shield
it.
coming out, despite 2 shield bans from the side of UWP. What's the response here? Surely, I mean, you brought along the Ella. I mean, we've talked about how she's good at denying space and doorways and such, but one other thing that she's very good at is those Grisbots are a pain for shield operators to deal with.
What I think the defense is missing, honestly, is a good gap can. Because I know, well, hear me out for a moment. So obviously Capcan on PC, far easier to deal with, at least in comparison to console, just because of the ability to just flick down so quickly. But
Right.
so often when you charge into a site, those Capcans prevent you from just being able to rush in like that. I am getting a major sense of deja vu right now. It's kind of crazy.
It feels pretty similar as it stands, doesn't it? 2 minutes remaining in the round, and I mean, trying to get that wall open, but the mute jammer is there to stop it. Taking out another mute jammer. In that instance, is Murray. But that wall still remains closed for now. Never mind, I think it did just get opened. And now, UWP, I think for the first time, have successfully opened the wall. I mean, that's the power of being able to ban out that bandit, who has been such a major thorn in your side this entire match so far. I mean,
We are
that's
seeing
slow.
defense here, mostly falling back onto site, allowing the attacking team to be able to push in, take the space that they need to, but they aren't quite giving it up that easily.
Oh!
Grismont Mine going off exactly as planned, stopping that push, taking out the very crucial Blackbeard.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm talking about. Those Grismots just making things so much harder for shield operators, because the moment you get hit, you're stunned, and that shield is flying in a direction you don't want it to. So, makes the kill onto those operators a significantly easier process, but still not an easy thing to do to dislodge Lime, who's just been on fire today. Whips out the pistol to find another kill in this round here. Despite Rusty managing to find a very excellent shot onto Slow Puddle, it surely will not be enough as Cole manages to wrap up the round. UND Black, they look on fire right now.
Yeah, 1-3 so far favoring UND Black here, with the only loss currently being on the first floor site, obviously being much more vulnerable to any sort of attack. We do move back to the other second floor site, that being Exhibition and Office. Also a very strong, very typical site to hold. Similar to Clubhouse, a lot of Skyscraper depends on how well you can hold the space that you need to, whether it be vertical
Defenders protecting
or
bombs are being
horizontal.
defused by attackers.
We do see a very, very big shift from UND Black to their traditional strategy. We do still have Mute and Smoke, just two generically good operators, but we see a swap to Legion and Castle, obviously great for area denial and information, but most notably, what I'm sure some of you can see, is a swap from Baker onto Clash, of all people. Recently, well, somewhat recently reworked in Season 2, the CCE shield now
10 seconds left
far
before
stronger
insertion.
than it was. Clash being a very reliable and very annoying
5 seconds
operator,
to go.
specifically against these shield ops, because the electric damage dealt by the
Attackers'
CCE
objective is to
shield
locate a bomb and
is
defuse it.
somewhat counted as melee damage, which means it is constantly knocking those shields back and making it very deadly. And we do see the traditional Clash strategy of walk outside and hold the space and just refuse to give it up whatsoever.
Yep. Office balcony is such a great spot for the Clash to stand in really any context, because it just puts so much more of a threat onto the attackers than anything that they're ever gonna get without a Clash on their roster. Obviously, a player can run out from that angle, but in most instances, why would you? Usually there's gonna be multiple people looking at that balcony and looking at that potential run out. But here, now that you have a Clash, that threat is always there.
And the sheer existence of the Clash forcing UWP to shift their entire attack around the map. Clash just being able to rotate and reposition over to it. And we're seeing a little bit of toes, just barely missing the shots. The castle barricade does go down. Baker is still up and on full health, and we are halfway into the round here. It's all a matter of who's going to be able to push at just the right time here.
5 versus 5, 90 seconds remaining. 2 shields still up for UWP, 1 up for UND. Eventually, the first casualty will be Rusty, but Murray is able to find a trade here onto Cole. As people start walking in onto Baker with this clash, Colts does find tanks, but very quickly traded out by Lime. What a phenomenal Lurk player that we've been seeing throughout the day so far, and it just continues to get worse for the side of UWP in their attacking half. Baker goes down but will not stay down. And it's as you say, Clash is such a major thorn in the side of these shield operators. And Murray, that's exactly what he happens to be. 1 versus 3 now required against characters that, frankly, do not make it easy in the slightest. 20 seconds.
Clash here is just completely stopping this round in favor of UND Black here.
Yep.
Pushing them straight into Lime's line of fire. We are just seeing how Clash can be so ridiculously oppressive if played correctly. And of course, it being round 6, it's a bit too late to ban her out. We're seeing that shield counterplay finally come out right when it's needed to, and just absolutely crushing the round.
It is as you say, it is too late to get rid of Clash, and as a result, she will be a thorn in your side for the remainder of the half. Fortunately for UWP, that is only one more round, and it is going to be a defensive hold on the last site where you managed to take away a round. And frankly, I think that banning out the bandit at the after that initial rotation did make sense. The bandit was causing immense problems upstairs, but I mean, and they hadn't been playing Clash before, but now that she's here, now that she's presented this issue, I think you need to make some pretty major adjustments. I don't think you can get away with this double shield composition that you've been walking in with. In fact, exactly like we see the adjustments made. Robo is the only shield remaining playing this fuse. Meanwhile, Murray has gone over to the thermite.
We do see a very aggressive chance for a run out here. This thermite does miss on the pre-fire here, which does mean that, well, it's going to be a little bit harder, but it is still putting the pressure on the team here, knowing that this area is now held. Even just the knowledge of a person existing there makes it so much more difficult in order to actually push into an area. Now, with the fuse here, that does mean that there is a... Well, no, actually. On some maps, you can fuse above a mute jammer in order to get rid of, mute jammer or anything else on the wall. But that often requires being able to repel. And with Skyscraper being the way that it is, you can't repel directly on any exterior windows. Instead, you have to repel right next to them, which does mean that you can't bypass the mute jammer in a reasonable manner.
And that's why the mute jammer is so good on that spot in particular. You just cannot get through it no matter what you do. But Frosty somehow manages to circumvent everything and find the first pick of the round anyway. Slow Puddle goes down, and now it's just a matter of getting through this barricade, which eventually they will do. They punch it down enough times, and once again, we're seeing the pressure from the Clash onto this shield operator, but it just won't be enough as Lime and Tanks both get taken down. It's just Baker and Cole remaining in the round. And only a little bit of damage done to Frosty.
You see Cole absolutely holding on for dear life every ounce of the top floor that he can. Baker, meanwhile, falling back to site, mostly just trying to keep hold there. And we see the entire enemy team. We get 2 of them taken out almost in one go, but that does mean that Mute does fall, so we are left just for the Clash here. Clash, very good in conjunction with teammates, but on her own, not... Well, still very annoying, but not very strong or lethal. And unfortunately,
Right.
lethality is what you need in a 3v1.
It's just Murray left, and I mean, with that still on your back, still in your hand, you need to be able to get that plant. You need to deny it, but there is a shield in your way. You weren't able to dislodge the fuse earlier in the round, and eventually that will come back to bite you as UWP take their second attack round in the half, putting it at a 4-2 scoreline going into UWP's defensive half.
A great showing, 2-4, and some, well, not to say repetitive movements, but we're seeing a lot of replays from Clubhouse, similar tactics, similar executions, being replayed here on Skyscraper. Kind of same essay, different font, but it's still working. I mean, we're seeing a 2-4 play going out here with the first round of bans being Blackbeard and Kaid, and the second round of bans being Blitz and Mira. Very,
I like this.
Yeah, very run-of-the-mill. Obviously getting rid of the shield op, some of the strongest in the game, opens up a bit slower play, as we see with the defense going Warden, Malusi, Bandit. It's more so ops just designed to slow down a push rather than stop and disrupt it entirely. Which, with the shield operators off the board, it means that that's a lot more likely of an option, more possible at the very least. But it does mean that for a lot of those key areas, that if they do for some reason decide to charge through, it's going to be much harder to actually hold on to it.
I mean, the moment that you see UWP ban out 2 shields, you know damn well that UND is going to be running the third. They have been so shield-centric on their attacking rounds. It hasn't mattered which ones are on the board. They've been running them. Whether it was only Blitz left, whether it was only Fuse left, whether it was, and now whether it's just Monty remaining. We are seeing tanks run out on the original shield operator, the one who's been here since day one, who's still potent. Unfortunately, we're also seeing them run out on Ascends, who goes down very, very quickly. Robo on the smoke, able to get that one off the board. Not going to be a factor for this round, which, I mean, you definitely don't want to lose this round if you're UND Black. If you win this one, you're on 5 round wins, and you are 2 away from taking this series in what some may call an upset. Fortunately, for the side of UND, they do manage to find Robo as a bit of revenge. Frosty also going very low off the back of a duel against Slow Puddle, but it's still a very risky play overall.
UND Black here, looking completely set up for what seems to be a rush push, but they instead decide to take it slowly, and unfortunately, some earlier picks makes it much harder to do so, but it's an interesting composition because I feel like they've almost done the opposite of what they needed to do, which was just move quickly. I mean, as we see from UWP's defense, a quick, fast, centralized push could probably break through their defenses pretty easily, but they just didn't capitalize off of it, and we're seeing that now more drawn out and taking longer to play here. We are seeing Lime here on this upside down rappel, barely missing the shots here, still applying that pressure that's stopping UWP from being able to rotate and just keep hold of that space for free.
Ooh, another excellent pick early. Frosty not expecting that angle and caught completely off guard in a bad spot. Diffuser once again in the hand of the Monty, as he simply walks in. And I mean, he should just be able to turn around and get this plant down right here, right now. 45 seconds remaining in the round, and another 45 likely to be added on in a moment here. I don't think they have proper plant denial. They definitely don't. But they do try to run up pretty aggressively with the shotgun in hand and take him out of the picture. Colts needs to find this kill and needs to find it quickly, but does eventually with the knife. It's just Lime left in a 1 versus 3. Raura, DMR in hand, needs to come up clutch and will not. The down comes through, and there's nothing Lime can do but sit here and wait for the defuse to roll through as UWP. They will take the opening round of this half, keeping themselves within 1.
On to a 3-4, a very even match so far. So looking at UND's attack there, as mentioned briefly in the middle of the round, they were geared for a very fast push and a very fast plant. But what they did was they slowly, they took the space needed, they pushed forward, they cleared out the roam a little bit, they went to go plant. And then, because they had already lost the people and lost the resources, they didn't have enough afterwards to fully commit. And that's when we saw them lose the round. When you have a strategy like that, especially one as dedicated as something like a rush plant like that, you have to commit to it. You can't, just give it half of what you got. You have to go for the entire thing. I mean, sure, if something fails, it fails, but especially for a strategy like that, you can't hesitate. In the words of the one great Sekiro boss, hesitation is defeat. I'm sure I just scared a bunch of people with that one.
I have yet to play Sekiro. I really want to. I'm not typically a FromSoft guy, though. I tried Elden Ring. Was not a fan. Ooh, Murray goes aggressive. Attempts to take someone out of the picture early. As does Rusty Cole! Are you kidding? Manages to find 2?
Well,
Still
you
very
get-
low health, but
you get
Goodness
greedy with
me.
opening picks like that, you can't be surprised when you get traded in return for it. Some
take
very
those.
quick reaction time obviously keeping them alive, but past that, now it's into a 3v5, not even a minute into the round. It's a very rough spot to be in.
yeah. And I mean, you're feeling really good if you're the side of UWP after managing to win that round. Because, I mean, being able to set the pace, keep yourself within 1, instead of letting UND get 2 rounds away from match point, is so important. But now you're in a spot where things are kind of scary. And now Lime playing underneath sight with the grapple ready to go. Hatch still intact, so it's still a viable strategy. Just need 1 or 2 more picks to make this an actually safe strategy, and Lime could do the funniest thing ever.
You're seeing very careful Gara hook.
Oh my god.
Gauge up. Amari is safe, now in sight. Now
Oh,
smoke goes down. Amaru exactly right when she needed to. Right in sight, taking that space.
perfect. Perfect.
Plant is going down into a 1v4
they got
now.
They got it. It's perfect. It's a perfect execute. I mean, you set up the Amaru down below, you wait for the grapple to be safe, and then you go up. Monty's already on site to cover the plant, and there's nothing UWP can do about it. UND Black just definitively taking that round away.
Amaru, of course, being a very high-risk, high-reward operator. If you can hit sight at just the right time, it can win you the round. But obviously, as I'm sure you are all aware from your unranked teammates, if you just Amaru into sight and there's someone with a shotgun on the window, congratulations, you have turned a 5v5 into a 4v5. But that round there, we saw Amaru exactly where she needed to be, and that was right when there's an opening, taking the space that no one expects, and then capitalizing off of it beautifully with that LMG. a textbook Amaru, and honestly a shining example of how he can actually be used in, at the very least, collegiate play, maybe even competitive in some cases.
For sure.
5 seconds left.
A very
before insertion.
fascinating operator that I love to see played every now and then, but unfortunately we will not be seeing her for a second round in a row. Rather back to a relatively standard composition for the attackers here. Baker, of course, still going to be rocking that Monty. I do find it interesting, though, that UND Black continues to mix up which player is going to be on the shield. We've seen Baker, we've seen Tanks, I believe we've seen Slow Puddle on the shields as well, so the only two consistently not are Lima and Cole, and that's just because these two are the fraggers. They have been going absolutely nuts in the kill category today, with Lime here in this third map getting 11. Playing out of his mind right now, currently on Grim. Am very curious to see if that number can go any higher. I believe he dropped 13, maybe it was 14 on map number 1. Can he break that record?
Are seeing Dokkaebi here with the DMR holding a very tight angle. Dokkaebi not being off the board here does provide a lot of information. You see a very quick trade here. Colt's moving out
Can
for a
it peek
potential strong
outside?
peek. Dokkaebi call is going to go off, providing a lot of much needed information.
And no mute to retreat back to, so can't just walk towards the jammer and not have to worry about it anymore. You do have to manually hang up, which many members of UWP have done at this point. So it is still a 4 versus 4. But it feels like UND, they've already taken a pretty significant chunk of space here on the map. Like, they feel pretty good. You can go through, I believe. But, yay, got through. But eventually, Colts is cut down as Tanks approaches. There is still one more logic bomb, by the way, for Tanks, so that could be the piece of utility that ends up sealing the deal here. They seem to know that someone's playing pretty aggressively, and the pick does not come through. Rusty needed to find that one, but will not ultimately. 2 versus 4 now, and things look pretty dire for UWP. About to give up match point to UND Black. The Division 2 team currently on the verge of being knocked down by the top of Division 3 UND. 1 round away from a victory here on Skyscraper.
We do move to the next ban phase, which could be a very crucial point for UWP if they want to keep in this. It's
Surely
going
not.
to rely on what operators they ban and what operators they use because of it. There's a very crucial point here, it being obviously match point, currently 3-6. And for bans, we get Monty and Malusi.
Malusi.
Monty being a pretty reasonable option here to ban on the attacking side,
Mhm.
but Malusi on the defense, interesting pick. I feel like there were other options.
I think there were definitely better options than Malusi, but
Could have taken
I don't
out.
hate it. I don't hate it.
It's reasonable. It
Mhm.
denies some information and it speeds up the push a little bit. But
Yeah.
compared to operators that they're running right now, such as a Rooney or Smoke or Mute, operators that kind of handle similar niches in a way, but can also, well, I would say in general they're a little bit stronger, especially with all the shield ops off the board. You really you don't need the Malusi as much, and so it's, I would say the bans are currently in favor of UND right now. Just all those shield ops off the board, they're now more easily able to gear towards stopping it without shields. And yeah, that's where we're at right now. You see bomb site currently being Karaoke and T right now. And in terms of an attacking push, we have a fairly aggressive setup, but overall the lack of a shield is going to hurt UND a little bit. But in terms of an actual defensive setup, I think they might be able to break through it. But I don't know. We'll see what happens.
I do find it interesting that despite the fact that we've seen both teams be very, very happy to use shields today, we do not see UND, which I think has been the shield happier team by far between these two. We don't see them bring along the fuse shield, rather opting for the Twitch, the Ace, and the Gridlock. None bad operators by any means, but just stylistically speaking, I would have expected to see them go back to a shield, or at least whichever one was available here. But I mean, the opening engagement of the round has come and gone. Murray the Dolphin has taken a pretty significant chunk of damage via a DMR from Baker. This Warden needs to stay alive in this spot, but will eventually be cut down. Tanks potentially signaling the beginning of the end.
3 armor privilege does also mean 1 speed unprivilege. Point being, you can't really sprint across that gap as easily with a 3-speed operator like Warden. It's much harder and obviously much riskier, and as we see, if you're cornered, it makes it much harder to actually get out and stay alive, as we see with Murray going down.
Lime on 12. Tanks on 8. The kill category has been lights out in favor of UND Black this entire time. And UWP, they're going to need a couple of their lower fragging players to get up in that category here, and Colts is the first to do it. Finds a pick onto Lime, which could end up being the most important kill of the round so far. 30 seconds now remaining in the round, and UND Black don't really have a solid foothold onto the site here. But they do have tanks pushed up pretty
crossfire,
far.
but holding onto the wrong door. They do find the extra kill there, but everyone else is just in a different area. They need to move, but is already being cleaned up elsewhere.
The double from Colts will contribute pretty heavily to the fact that they managed to stay alive for at least a little bit longer. Platteville getting a 4th round win here, but it's still match point UND Black. They're going to need 2 more rounds in a row in order to take us to overtime. And even if they win this one, Genius, they need to go back to the first floor, which has not gone well for anybody who's gone down there today.
It's a very, very important point here, because if UWP can win, then they have to go to the first floor, and as we've seen, it is a very unreliable site to hold. But if they lose, well, that's game point. It's a very important point here. In terms of a defensive setup, we're seeing a much more curly setup, I guess. Obviously, with Rooney and Mutes and Bandits, the goal is to stop the information, stop the push, and just slow down as much as possible. Smoke and Legion obviously there to, well, 1, clear out the roam, but 2, also continuously poke them in the back, slow down that push just a little bit more, because UND here with Glaz and Capital and Rara, a very quick setup we're seeing here. So we're going to see if they can capitalize on the space that they have, and if they can move quick enough in the time that they have.
Potentially the last stand for UWP if they cannot manage to hold onto this crucial site. But if they can, it gets a whole hell of a lot harder on the penultimate round, the final round of regulation, assuming they can take this one. But man, what a journey it's been throughout this series so far. Map 1, 7-5, map 2, 7-2. And now, here on the decider, it's once again down to the wire. sheer fragging power of Lime and Tanks has been so crucial for UND Black's success here. And Baker, despite the early quote at the beginning of the series saying Baker will go negative, it is inevitable. It has not happened. Map number 2, he goes positive, and map number 3 so far, he has once again gone positive. Minute 20 now remaining. Still no interaction.
Colts here using the last reinforcement to give up Geisha in favor of falling back onto site. Minute left into the round. It's time to fall back, it's time to hold on, and it is time to refuse to give them any sort of space possible. See here with the Amaru, not even having used a single Gara hook charge, it's all going to come down to whether or not they can hold the proper angle and just not let go of the space necessary. A bit of friendly fire here on accident, going to take out a large portion of Cole's health. Some of the worst time to get hit with that, honestly.
But not all of it. Cole still remains a factor in this round for at least a little while longer. The bulletproof camera, though, noting the exact location of several players. Baker finding a crucial pick onto Frosty. But even as that happens, Colts manages to find Tanks through the madness. Cole, though, finding Murray, but trades back and forth, slightly favoring UND as it stands, but can change on the flip of a coin, especially as Baker goes down 2 versus 2. Diffuser in the hands of Lime. Less than 2 seconds left, and the diffuser has begun to plant, but Colts shuts it down. UWP once again staying alive. But now they have to go downstairs. And this is where it starts to feel potentially over.
We are currently 5-6 right now. UND still with match point, still with 1 round left for the current defending attacking setup here. We are on to the first floor here for UWP. The very, as we've previously seen, very hard site to hold on to. We are seeing the Jaeger come out here. Very interesting pick compared to what we've been seeing so far on the attacking side. But we also do see the Frost come out in this last round, similar to as we saw on map 2 with Clubhouse. First floor here, obviously having the main hats drop, but also having the very important windows in either Geisha or in Kitchen that are very important to hang on to if possible. Frost obviously being able to hold on to that. And we do see, obviously, the very powerful, not yet banned, not yet played on this map, I believe, Azami. And obviously, she is going to be able to completely snuff out any sort of push given the chance. You see Frost here expanding into whatever area possible. You see a very typical second floor hold for the first floor site of just holding up over all the windows, just setting up all your defenses, and just giving yourself the space that you need to in order to stop any potential pushes.
And UND Black back to their shielding ways with that fuse in hand. No wall denial whatsoever this time, not so much as a mute to keep Geisha closed. A somewhat risky strategy for UWP, but could potentially be the difference.
I don't believe they really need to worry about the Geisha wall that much, as long as they have a presence there, especially due to the hard breachers that are chosen right now, that being somewhat Fuse and of course Hibana, makes it not as important to worry about the multiple. With the Finka boost, they are going to go for a much more horizontal bait, lines and going out. We are seeing a very typical rush going off right now.
Extremely aggressive, and they have the location of at least one player to fall for the defenders. UND Black want this over and done with, but Colts and Robo both managing to clap back a little bit here. 3 versus 2 now. The attackers cut down to size. The tank still has at least one more in them. 2 versus 2. Lion and Finka. The two operators added together at the same time. One of them dominating and terrifying this game for a very long time, but does get shut down. And now it's just on to Cole in a 1 versus 2 if he wants to complete this absolutely insane series with this round. Only one player stands in his way, and it's Colts. One of these players is going to pick up their 11th kill of the map. The only question now is, will it be the last kill of the map? 35 seconds left. They have a pretty good idea of where the Finca is because of the bulletproof camera and the Legion mine that Cole has just walked into. Colts is also playing a very safe position right now, just ensuring that nothing will be able to get the jump on them. The gunfight comes through, and Colts takes it! The first defensive round win on the first floor of the entire map today will send us into overtime.
And here we are. Here goes the heart rate. Everything else is just falling into place. We're seeing the bands come back. Kaid, Mira, Bandit, Ace, Monty, Blitz. We're going back to the second floor. This is, I think, the first time I've seen an overtime here, at least while commentating. So now's the time. Yeah, now's the time we see. Really, I think this is where all the nerves are. Because, well, we've gotten over the first little hurdle of getting, to overtime. But now you have to win the 2 matches you need in order to actually secure that advantage and the win. On this final map here, the people are tired, they're worn out, they aren't ready exactly for everything that can be thrown. So now it's a matter of, can you properly conserve your energy and, strike where you need to and worry about what you need to instead of getting worn out in this last little stretch here.
5 seconds left before insertion.
2 rounds stand between each of these teams in elimination at this point. Whoever loses goes home entirely. Whoever wins moves on in our playoff bracket here in Midwest R6. And a very familiar strategy being deployed by the side of UND Black. We have Baker outside on the office balcony. Flash shield up and ready. Meanwhile, on the other side of things, no Blackbeard to be seen, but Robo on the fuse shield nonetheless.
We are finally seeing through this entire set the use of Catman here to slow down any sort of shield pushes or just pushes in general. I'm not sure where exactly the Catmans are placed, but hoping that they are placed in a, well, reliable area, I guess, or at least relevant. Because a good Catman, of course, will completely and utterly stifle a push. You see here with the Clash, obviously holding exactly where they need to. Even just revealing, the Clash revealing herself as she walks out into the opening is honestly more of an intimidation tactic. It says, there is a Clash here, you need to deal with it or you are going to lose. You're seeing all of UWP slowly form in on this Clash here, and everyone else just being able to either support the Clash or hold the other angle that might be taken.
Minute 20 left. Baker on this Clash still holding strong. A whole lot of space being taken. A flank coming through here from Tanks and Lime. Tanks looks to be backing off a little bit, but Lime finds the crucial first pick on the Colts. Ash now no longer in the equation, and that is an operator you don't want to be losing early. That gun is so powerful. That gadget is so powerful. Even if expended already, that's so bad to lose. And Rusty also going out. Eventually, they finally answer back with a pick onto Cole, but Frosty immediately goes down, and the damage onto the players right above is so immense. Robo also falls. It's just Murray left, and they know exactly where he is because the Clash has not been dislodged. 1 round now stands between UND Black and an upset over a higher division team.
All right. We see 1 point of overtime go in favor of UND Black. Now they just need to win on the attacking side and hopefully replicate a similar success that we saw. Otherwise, flips on back. We see them going to Karaoke and T. I would say the default site for Skyscraper, and it's very reliable to fall back on. Similar defense that we have been seeing, use of the Bandit and the Rooney,
Defenders, protect your bombs
and
from being
at least for the
defused by
time
hackers.
being, a very similar attacking setup with, as we see, a recent swap of Fuse, obviously for that shield, and a lot more hard breathers than usual with both the Hibana and the Ace. Interested to see where they can get use out of that at the very least, or where they decide to get use out of it, I should say.
Another chance provided to UND. They had match point for a time, but could not convert it
10 seconds left before
until we
insertion.
get into overtime. And now, once again, they have an opportunity to shut down the hopes and dreams of UWP in this season of
Attackers are
Midwest
moving out to
R6.
locate a bomb and defuse it.
Can they do it? Can they finish this match right here? There's a
On the attack
very real chance.
from UND, we are seeing a team setup that is going to be geared towards a rush plant. Smokes, Glaz, and the Osa, of course, to plant, with the Zofia, of course, for cover. This is some very strong stuff we're seeing here. You see Ying's shotgun, a traditionally not very often picked weapon, but let me tell you, that shotgun is not to be underestimated. It is
No.
semi-automatic with a very quick fire rate, and while the destruction may not be very good, it is great for holding that vertical play for a rush plant, and it is great for opening up those walls for a rush plant.
I'm just shocked that geisha outside wall wasn't reinforced by UWP. I mean, that feels like a slight misplay coming out from just being able to open up that sight line and put so much pressure into that area is so powerful for UND Black, and to just let that happen, it's hardly heard of. Any way you slice it, the wall's open now, and that is something UWP are going to have to deal with for the remainder of the round. Smoke is here to stall out the push from this extremely potent Osa, but a couple of players are going to fall here. Frosty finding two with the DMR in hand. Tanks managing to find one with that brand new pistol. Fully automatic, does a lot of damage, but Tanks taking a lot in an effort to find Murray. Now it's a 4 versus 3. Tanks very low on HP. Not sure if the Candelas have been expended yet or not, but pressure from a different angle coming through. Now 1 versus 3 for Baker on this Osa. 55 seconds remaining. Plenty of time, but you don't have the diffuser in hand, and they have to know where it is. UND Black, with 1 round separating them from moving on, in a dire position, and one that they will likely not be able to win out. In fact, they do not. A pick comes through, but it won't be enough. The remaining 2 will not happen, and just like that, we are going to map 3, round 15.
Now, forgive me, I'm not that familiar with Midwest R6 rules. Is this the final match point, or does it go further beyond this?
I believe this is the final match point round.
This is
I
it?
believe this is it.
All right.
We do not have unlimited overtime.
That's good.
This is it. This is the last round.
We are seeing UND Black
Attackers
move
need
to
to
the
locate
other
and defuse
second
as
floor
many
site.
bombs as they can.
That being, they chose to go for office last, so now they're going for karaoke and tea. I'm pretty sure the exact same setup that they had before, especially with the Fenrir and Ella, just to delay any pushes that they have. Of course, we're seeing UWP swap over to the Blackbeards and decide to stick with it. A very strong operator, but also pretty well countered by the setup that they have going on here. Not much wall denial going on here aside from the mute. And
10 seconds
yeah,
remaining.
we're down to the final point here. We gotta see how well they decide to handle it.
This is it. The final 3-minute stretch of gameplay. Potentially a little bit more or less than that, depending on if the spike gets down. Spike? Wow. Valorant on the brain, apparently. But depending on whether the diffuser gets down, whether really anything happens here, this is a very interesting position for that particular piece of utility to be. Kinda like
is going to be opened here with a lot of team presence dedicated over to the office side. A little bit of hold in Geisha, but not very much here. Robo very carefully moving in, testing the waters here. Currently able to just walk in with a current player sitting on the stairs here, unknown. Yeah, we have Slow Puddle here, lurking down in the stairs, waiting for that push to happen. Baker here to bait out any sort of response. This is where we're going to see something happen. Very dangerous setup here.
Oh, they're gonna know in a moment here. I think the drone just went there to check out the stairs, and Slow Puddle forced to shoot it out. So they are at least aware of this operator's position. Not ideal for Slow Puddle, but they should be aware that not only is he here, but he's still here, especially with this Thatcher so close by. Between a rock and a hard place right now, a grenade thrown just to try and put a little bit more pressure on him. But the Fender Mine saving the life of Slow Puddle, at least for the moment. Still in such a terrible position. So difficult to get yourself out of a spot like this. Slow Puddle, SMG in hand, has to try and escape, but still stuck on the stairs. Eventually, it looks like UWP are going to give up this attempt. And with only a couple seconds left, 45 remaining now, Murray, the first to fall. Crucial that it is the thermite. And now, things potentially snowballing out of control for UWP. Nearly losing out on another player, but Tank's not able to finish the kill before Frosty is there to cover for Rusty. Gets picked back up, and it's a 4 versus 4. This should be a 3v5, maybe a 3v4, but the shot's just not fully connecting. Robo goes down! That's the shield, that's the tip of the spear! A 3 versus 3 as the trade comes through, but Lime, so good all day long on 19 kills! 8 seconds remaining in the round. Diffuser in the hand of Colts, but goes down! Lime with the last 2 picks to send his team further in the playoffs! Unreal performance coming out from Live today, whether it was the Ella or any of the other operators we chose to play. 21 kills on Skyscraper to send his team over the edge.
Absolutely masterful gameplay here from both sides. I mean, truly, going to complete full overtime on the third map on the first playoff game that we're covering here, that is just completely mentally and physically taxing. It is exhausting to play Rainbow Six Siege at this level for that long, but also needing to add on top of that the stress of playoffs and this overtime. It is just a lot, and we are able to see how even the smallest advantage that you can ever get a hold of can absolutely be exploited and torn open in order to create that win that we saw here tonight from UND.
An unreal series. An unbelievable series coming out today. After that second map, I was not at all sure what to expect going into Skyscraper. Remember, neither of these teams played Skyscraper during the regular season. This was the first time in the entire stage of Midwest R6 that either of these squads had played Skyscraper in an official. And what a better way for it to go than round 15 overtime.
Well,
absolutely unreal.
Statistically speaking, each team did have the exact same play rate and win rate going into the map. So, having it this even is a little bit expected, but it's interesting to see what Skyscraper really is capable of because, like I mentioned towards the very start of the map, it is similar to Clubhouse in a lot of ways, but for the key differences that it does have, it matters so much. And being able to figure out those differences and capitalize on them is what separates a good team from a great team.
Yeah, for sure. And guys, we have an interview coming up right after a very quick break here with a member of University of North Dakota. So please don't go anywhere. We will be right back. everybody. It's us, MWR6, Gedster, joined by Genius, my co-caster all the way over there, and
I'm
Cole
over
in
here.
between us right now, here winning from North Dakota. How you doing today, my man? We're doing pretty
I
good. We're doing
doing
pretty good. Apparently, your mic's
right?
not coming through
One
on the
moment.
stream. We can hear you through Discord. Interesting. Hmm. Listen, NA production. That's what I'm saying. North America production.
You know what? What good is a stream if not a little scuffed? You know.
True. That's exactly what I said a few seconds ago, and then my producer was like, "No." Anyway, you slice it. We can talk a little bit about Cole here before his microphone starts working properly. But I mean, what a player today! Obviously, put in a phenomenal performance throughout the entire day. Crazy fragging ability on especially that last map, dropping 10 kills. Ignore the 11 deaths. 10 kills was wild in that third map of Skyscraper. I forgot the name of it for a moment, but we got there. Just putting in an absolutely absurd amount of work for the team today. Obviously team captain behavior as well. If you don't lead by example, how are people going to follow? All that jazz. So just playing phenomenally well today. And is Cole with us yet? Ooh, Cole. We could do the translating thing where like Cole just speaks into the microphone looking at the camera and then I say something.
Oh, are we good?
Are we good?
Cole, say a
No,
little
not
something.
yet. Not
Nope,
quite.
not yet.
Not yet. Not yet. And now Cole's camera has frozen. This is North American production, everybody. This is how we do it, y'all. This is how we do it around these parts. Genius, have you ever had to stall during an interview before?
Me stalling? No, but I have
No.
heard a very
Okay.
interesting story about stalling actually, and so reminds me of time,
Mm.
right? So I was living in an apartment, right? I was a little low on
Yeah.
rent, right? So I went to go upstairs to my neighbor, who, they were pretty nice. They made me cookies sometimes, and I go and sit down, and I'm surrounded by a bunch of weasels. I'm
Oh,
saying this quite literally. It was just actual weasels, right? And so I sit down,
weasels.
a nice little, dimly lit table, uh,
Mm-hmm.
overhead light, and we all sit down for a nice, lovely game of poker, right? As we
Okay.
usually play, right? And so I
Surrounded by
sit down,
weasels.
I'm dealt my hand, we're doing a usual Texas Hold'em, and
Mm-hmm.
when I'm dealt my cards, I realize that I have a hand of 5 aces. And I'm like, wow, I've struck gold, right? So I lay
Uh-huh.
down everything I have right off the bat, not being that much, because I like to see, like I just said, I'm broke. I'm a little late on rent. I don't have much.
Mm-hmm.
And when I went to go play, they said I was cheating. They said I had an ace up my sleeve, and I don't understand that. I mean, I was dealt 5 aces, right? Why wouldn't I
Mm.
play that? And
Right.
so when
Dealt
I
five
played them,
aces.
they for some reason thought that I was cheating. I said no, that couldn't be it. And so what I did was I took out a little bit of dust, right? And I always keep a black light on me, just for the funnies, right? And so what I did was I sprayed a little dust on the card, right? I took out the black and
Where
white, all right? And what did it
where
have
is this
on the
going?
card other than weasel prints? And so I looked at my neighbor, right? Also a
Mm.
weasel, all right? And I called
Is
him
that
out. I
working?
said, you're trying to cheat me out of my money. And you know what he did?
Mm.
He folded. He laid down his hand. He said, all right, man, you got me. All right. So, you know what I did? I
Mm.
was dealt my money back out for my rightfully played hand of 5 aces.
Mm-hmm.
And then
I
I went
see.
back home, paid my rent. Everything happened just peachy.
Excellent. Excellent. Cole, are you still with us?
Can you hear me?
Yes,
I
we
can
can
hear
hear
you.
you.
Can the stream hear you? Are we
Here, let me
good?
play.
Oh, surely the stream can hear you now. That's going to be a very, very funny, very long delay before the actual interview starts. Cole, welcome
works
onto the
out.
broadcast proper.
Hello,
We got
hello.
there eventually. Welcome onto the broadcast proper, my
Thank
friend.
you.
You've been on, just putting on a solid, a great performance in game throughout the entire night so far. So welcome onto the interview stage, all that jazz. My
Please don't
first
drop
big
again.
question for you is going to be my first big question for you is going to be about that first map of Cafe. Obviously, a very close affair, but couldn't get it over the line in the end. What was the immediate aftermath of that 12-round game? What was the immediate thought process of the team?
Well, we knew it was going to be kind of a close game. We aren't really too familiar on Cafe. I mean, we knew our abilities. We tried to keep it close. Obviously, you want to win the game at the end of the day, but we knew what we had to do. But yeah, like I said, we haven't played Cafe too much this semester, but we came through. We kept it close, but we knew going forward that wasn't going to stop us.
Fair enough.
All right, my turn, I suppose.
Mhm.
So, obviously, a lot of the current Siege meta is built around shields, and we saw both teams use them and counter them pretty decently. So, for your team, what would you say is the best way to counter the current shield meta?
I mean, just clash and trap ops.
True.
We tried to bring Legion, Fenrir. I mean, we only started bringing Clash on Skyscrapers because Clash is really strong on that map. But I don't know. There's not really too much you can do, honestly.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So you mentioned the Skyscraper, a map that neither team had played up until this playoff game. What exactly is your plan for Skyscraper? Do you treat it similar to any different map? Is there any notable Skyscraper specific strategies that you need to work on? Could you guide us through the process?
So just kind of like Cafe, we really haven't played too much Skyscraper this semester, but a lot of people on the team, we've been on the team for a couple semesters now, so we've had our old strats. We had to change it up a little bit too, but we just kind of kept it familiar from what we used to do because last semester felt like we played Skyscraper every week. So we try to use that like what we did last semester to try to bring it to this one. But yeah, I mean, it got a little hairy there at the end, but we came through. Liam dropping 21 kills. That was crazy.
Yeah.
Beautiful stuff.
Yeah. That was gonna be my next question, really. I wanted to talk a little bit about Liam, as you've just named him on broadcast. 21 on Skyscraper is utterly absurd. I mean, that's just insane. When you have a player who you know is capable of that kind of fragging potential on your team, is part of the strategy genuinely sometimes just go kill 5, do it now?
I mean, yeah, we needed it really bad. We were on defense. We were kind of giving up picks. That was one of our problems on Cafe. Was on defense we'd give up a pick or two very early on, making our last couple defenders kind of just like cower in sight. Not really cower, but not give up all that space and stuff. And I don't know. He was feeling it that game, and not going to tell him not to go shoot people. So
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, he was that last round, and I mean, I don't know. He was a leader in game too. I don't know. Too much good stuff to say about him.
Fair enough. And last thing before we let you go, celebrate with the teammates. Moving on to the next round of playoffs, but not celebrating too hard because it's obviously not over yet.
No.
Is there anybody you'd like to shout out at this time?
I'd say our coach Kyle.
No. Let's go, Kyle. Big fan of Kyle. Definitely came up with a lot of what you guys were implementing tonight, I'm sure. And I am fairly certain that you guys are going to have a great time moving on in this bracket. I personally hope to see you guys make it far, continue to make it far, because damn, that was some good Siege we saw from you guys tonight. Thank you, Cole, so much for coming on.
Thank you so much, guys.
And thank you, everybody at home, for watching tonight. Midwest R6 playoffs have begun, so don't go anywhere. Next Thursday, we'll be back with another matchup. Hopefully one half as good as this one, because damn, this one was good. But until then, I have been Gedster. I have been joined by Genius. This has been Cole in the middle. And I hope you all have a good night.